Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night. I'm not used to saying that. I'm used to saying it's Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night, and today is what a night to be live. I mean, the occasion for tonight is crazy. We've been promoting it ever since Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to delay it.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Jay Wasley from Ghost Adventures.
How's it
in the
going?
building.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good to
you
be
so
here.
much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Crazy. I mean, at this point, I'm used to seeing Jay. I've had him on my show a couple of times, and you know, it's always been a good time. But I know the fans are very excited.
Yeah.
To have you here.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that, and happy to be here, and happy to be going live with you guys.
So we might have some people who live under a rock. I'm not gonna front. We might have some people. Tell us just a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing for a little over a decade now.
Yeah, it's probably been about a decade and a half. I've been traveling the world with a television show called Ghost Adventures. It's currently airing on Discovery Channel. Myself and 3 other guys, led by Zach. We travel around, go to allegedly haunted places, and we spend multiple nights there to document and try to capture paranormal evidence while also telling the story and finding out the history and the reasons why these hauntings are going on.
It's been going on. I saw the documentary, which you weren't a part of yet. You weren't on the show yet, but I saw the documentary. I think I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
So it's been some time. And I mean, you said you've been watching since high school.
I guess I was a junior in high school when the first episode aired.
Yeah, I started in 2010. I think the show started in 2008. They did the documentary, I think 2006, around about. And then 2008, the show started, and then I started in 2010.
So I was in elementary school then.
That is insane.
Yeah, because I saw it on Sci-Fi.
Me too.
Yeah, that's where it
Me
first
too.
came
Yeah.
out on.
Yeah, because I lived on Sci-Fi. I
was
watched
just
all
about
the
to say.
shitty B movies, and
Sci-fi was great.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I haven't checked into it lately, but I'm sure it's just a bunch of like
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica ripoffs and
Right.
Yeah,
all that.
I
But
loved it though. It was a lot of old creepy movies that used to come on there as well. So
Yeah.
I definitely lived on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I've watched consistently. Even whenever like I was an adult, I still watched.
Nice.
Hell, I still watch it sometimes now.
yeah,
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, quick question for you is:
Yeah.
what is it like to be part of the biggest paranormal and ghost show in the world? Surreal.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's wild to think this is what I do week after week. It feels natural though in a weird way, and plus we've been doing it for so long, and you know, I get to travel around and do this with basically my brothers. That so it feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel like a job, Like even though I guess technically yes, it's a job, but like it's more than just that. It is a life. It's our life that we do this. We do it nonstop, and we put everything we have into it. But it's amazing. I've always been into the paranormal, even as a kid. I think it's something that everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, they have a desire to know what happens after we die.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know that. That's the ultimate question. So to be able to week after week travel around and actually explore this, and and I go into it trying to actually document this and try to figure out, and I'll be the first person to say, like, I don't know what's going on. I have enough experience to make good theories, but like at the end of the day, like there's still so much more to explore and so much more to figure out.
Yeah. It's amazing because, like I said, I've been watching forever, and I couldn't imagine having your job. Like
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm actively trying.
We have our ghost hunts and things like that, but just to know, like, you guys are the longest running ghost adventure, like anything, paranormal show, anything. And a lot of us, even in the chat, like I'm looking between our chat, my chat, and a lot of us grew up with you guys. Like this was what we would do, watch reruns and, just be a part of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, whenever I meet fans on the road or even here in Vegas or wherever, and they always tell me stories, and they always want to share their ghost stories, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're probably sick of hearing that." I was like, "No, like this is my life too. Like it's not just like I said what we do. Like it's become my life, and I'm fascinated about it, and always have. Even as a kid, I just wanted to learn.
Yeah,
I always wanted to learn. What else is there to than just this?
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, I actually failed my junior year math class. It was like a pre-calculus trigonometry thing. And I got an A the first semester, and then I spent the rest of the year doing my own mathematical equations, but I never studied. I never did any homework, so I ended up failing. And I remember at the end of the year, I showed my teacher the notebook, and I was like, look, what I did the whole year, I took what I learned, and I mathematically equated that we only experience 0.00001% of all reality that exists. And here's all the math, like based, on everything, all our five senses, because that's what we perceive as reality is our five senses. So I broke down each five senses, and like what we actually experience in this world right now is literally, it's like a billionth of a percent.
Now, did they end up saying like, that's great, but you still got an F?
Yeah, I went to summer school.
Like, that's cool, Jay. But
that's okay because at the end of the day, you knew like, and I tell people it's kind of in the same category. Like we only use this much, like a grain of salt compared. And I always thought in my head, like if we used every single percent of our brain, we will be able to see the dead just like we see the living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at like ancient cultures and people in the past, I think they were less distracted.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of like people that have hauntings and they, kids having imaginary friends, their brains are still more open to it.
I told you.
They're not kind of, buried in the modern world. And as we live, we get, we're literally like we lose that connection with the spiritual world, which is also lose the connection with the natural world. We kind of lose, and I think everybody has that connection. We're all from the same point. We all have that. And some people that are, gifted and things like that, they're still in tune with that. So they're able to tap into that bit, where other people, and probably the majority of people, just, turn it off, or they just forget that it's even there.
Yeah. And that's what we call in the spiritual community a veil. And I always tell people like babies, people that are animals, people that are close to death, like they don't have that.
Right.
And then mediums, they're extra special because they always have been able to see things. They use that that percentage of their brains to be able to do it. So it's just interesting. So you mean to tell me you are a science kind of guy whenever it comes to this? Like, do you walk into investigations like, okay, I want to debunk this because I know science, but at the same time, I know that this could be real.
Right. And I know without a doubt that it's real. I've experienced more than enough stuff to know that it's real.
Kind of have almost 29 seasons of it.
So there's no doubt about that, but I still try to approach everything skeptically. One, I don't want just my mind to play tricks on me and just be like, oh, it's all haunted. And like, I want to experience it like truthfully. So I go in kind of skeptically, and my goal is to document it too, not just experience it. And that's the problem sometimes with television is we have experiences that are hard to document, like personal feelings, and we still share it and stuff like that. But like, that's the kind of the tough thing. But, my goal ultimately is to be able to document it without any doubt, and to, I remember we talked about before about, if I would ever go back to Goatman's Bridge, which was a terrible investigation. And I would, because I want to try it again. I want to see if the same things happen again, if we can repeat what we experienced, to actually prove it. And I think that's for anything, if you follow the scientific method, which for scientists of the world to believe and accept paranormal things, it needs to be replicated. It needs to be able to be proven over and over again, so that requires going to the same spot and having the same experiences over and over again.
Yeah. And I know you guys are probably a little lost, but you have to subscribe to our members only to get the exclusive interview with Jay, because we were talking about...
We had some heavy questions. We did some pretty hard-hitting questions for the members earlier.
Revealed everything from deep into my soul.
Actually, we might be contractually obligated to not even release it. So we'll see.
Definitely, you guys subscribe.
Austin proposed to me.
He did.
Don't tell Vanessa. Actually, she would probably be like, yeah, go ahead. Have him. She watches the show with me. She'd be like, good. All right, you guys can go do your little ghostly thing. George has a lot of fangirls on the show. Look at George; he's a specimen. And his fiance is like, "Go be with your witchy girlfriends."
Because we're all a lot of the people that watch us are spiritualists, people that have experienced the paranormal, and are mediums and all that good stuff, right? So, but they love the George, not George. They love the George.
They love the George.
And
Mr.
his girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you your little witchy girlfriends, I said, "Oh, okay, we gonna leave George. All right." I see he's looking for the right.
He's looking for a sound effect.
Yep. It's the George, ladies, from now on.
Yes.
The George is a popular person on the show, but
we're going to ask Jay some more questions,
Yes.
but we do have a lot of new people watching. If this is your first time watching Calls from Beyond, this is a live call-in show where we allow you guys to call in and tell us your stories. There is a number down below on the screen that you can see right there. You can call into that. You can also find it in the description of all of our channels. It does get backed up. Tonight, I know we're going to have a lot of callers, so we are going to have to start kind of implementing a timer. We do want to hear your guys' stories, but we also want to get through to as many of you as possible. However, if you just can't wait, or if you want to be able to skip the line, you can send a super chat of $10 to either the Black Cauldrons channel, Truly Bizarre's channel, or Calls from Beyond, or you can send it to the CashApp account, which is Calls from Beyond. Now, it's $10 if you're not a member. It is $5 if you are a member. But the most important thing, because a lot of you guys keep forgetting, and it's okay. You got to include the last 4 of your phone number. We don't know.
I'm psychic. They think I know, but
There's a
we
619 area code.
Right. We
Ugh.
do need.
I've paid $100 and I've never gotten through.
News to me, because where's this $100?
Right. We would have let you right in.
Jay would have texted me and I'd be like, "Hey, we're sliding this call
No,
right in
you
right
would
now."
have texted me like, "What the fuck, dude? I sent $100." But
I just show up.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
then, well, he knows where we are now, so
Right.
you just show up.
Yep.
One of my clients, they're my lawyers, but they're a lawyer podcast, but they're 2 streets down.
Mm-hmm.
And one time he was like, "Are you guys recording right now?" I was like, "No," because I know he would just walk in. I'm like,
right.
"No, dude, we're not recording. It's fine." So I see a couple of people asking about how you got involved. I kind of know the story, but how did you get involved with Ghost Adventure? Because it wasn't like, I need to find out everything. It was a little more cut and dry for production.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unusual story too, but I guess it's interesting. It worked out for me.
Here we are.
So
Apparently.
I've worked in production my whole life, pretty much. Right out of high school, like many kids, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I knew I didn't want to just go a regular route. I didn't want to just do a 9 to 5. That's not me. I've always been a creative person,
Yeah.
so I wanted to create. So I went to school for photography. Had a teacher that was just like, "You're just gonna shoot weddings. That's the only thing you could ever do as a
That's
photographer."
all right. I mean,
They
hey, that's how I
suck.
got my. Did you get your start with weddings?
I did a few, but not really. No.
Oh,
Right.
see, I got my start as a wedding editor. That was fun.
Hey, listen, that's good money.
Right? It can be
For the person who was hiring me, yeah. For me,
Right.
not
you
really.
were like
yeah.
contracted kind
Yeah.
of.
They approached me to edit for them.
So then that kind of stopped, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try a regular route. So I went and I got certified in computer programming. But I was like, I don't want to just sit at a desk typing code 9 to 5. And if I was doing that now, AI would be taking my job in a couple months anyway.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have worked out that way. But I was also like, that's not me. I don't.
Right.
I need to be something more creative. So I was still trying to figure it out, and I didn't realize that there's people that work behind the scenes. I love movies. I love music. I've been a musician my whole life as well, and I didn't realize that there's people that work a career that making this stuff.
The whole show.
And then I started like meeting people, and I started just basically I was growing up around Philadelphia area, and I just started working on anything I could. So any job that needed I kind of got lucky, honestly. I didn't do a lot of like production assistant work. It was always like, you need a sound guy, but it was like no pay on weekends making some terrible movie. And I would just do it all. And I worked as a camera guy, a sound guy. I did special effects. I did all kinds of different things. And then I just kept growing from there. And it, it's cliche, but it is who you know.
Yeah.
And I met people that ended up hiring me for other jobs that would hire me for another job. And then fast forward, this was my first big movie was 2002. I worked on a movie doing pyrotechnics.
Okay.
In this movie called Bikini Bandits.
Looking it up. Sorry, now I'm looking.
We do this during the show.
Yeah.
And so that was like around
Oh,
2002.
Maynard's in it?
Oh, yeah.
And Corey Feldman?
Yeah.
All right. He's just like, just
He's
a little
like,
movie.
just a little movie,
And so fast forward 2010-ish, I got hired by a friend of mine who was also like one of the ones that hired me back in 2002. And he hired me to do sound on this reality shows. At that time, I was starting to do a lot more reality, in New York City and Philly and that whole area. It was just like a boom of reality shows. And for some reason, sound is what took off for me. What's that?
It's a call. Somebody
nice.
got unmuted.
All right. So sound is what kind of jumped off for me.
Please, can you please mute yourself? I promise I ain't gonna forget about you. I promise. Just mute yourself.
Sometimes they get a little too
1
excited and
second.
they're like,
Yeah. But yeah, so then
Oh,
basically,
look, he's right here. He's on IMDb.
Yeah.
I just found. Sorry, I just found
right.
just pyrotechnic effects.
and then so I got hired to do sound on a show called Wreck Chasers, which basically we
remember that
followed
one.
tow truck companies around Philadelphia, and it was intense. It was like gang war. You know, it was the only job that we actually had bulletproof vests in the van because we
Yeah.
would roll up to calls and we didn't realize, but it was a stolen car, and now
Yeah.
there's a police shootout, and
Yeah.
And what was your job on that?
I was running sound on it.
He's wearing a bulletproof vest. That's the sound guy.
Philly is a scary place.
yeah.
No, seriously,
Yeah,
we
we're-
went and I was
We went to a
scared.
bar. They were shooting in broad daylight,
And everybody
was
were-
just sitting there like everything was okay.
Yeah,
Like,
it's normal day,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
right,
look back, and then they went back
Yeah.
on their phones, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What is going on?"
So after that show, unfortunately, ended because it just couldn't last. It was a great show, but not to get too deep into it. But
Right.
some of the people there was a lot of crime involved, like murders, things like that, and it just became not sustainable. And then basically the police started coming in and stopping. Basically, we would like listen to police scanners, the tow
Yeah.
truck with the tow truck companies, and they would
Damn.
race to a wreck, and whoever got there first would get the job.
Oh,
So it created this natural
It's- yeah.
fight. And then there were actual fights and murders and things like
Oh
that
my
that happened.
gosh.
So we took a break, and when we went back to start filming, we would show up and the police were like, nope, we're not allowing this anymore. We're doing what's called a rotation, where
Yeah.
they like just go down a list and they call this company.
Yeah,
then
yeah,
this
yeah.
company gets a turn, then this company, which most cities do. And actually Philly did have that law. They just didn't enforce it. So they decided to enforce it and kind of stop that show.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the production company that was making that show was the production company that does all the logistics for Ghost Adventures. And they basically called me and they're like, hey, we have another gig for you. We have another show. If you know, and at that time, the show was always hiring local sound guys wherever they would go, or like flying in occasionally. Like, but it was always different. So they were always getting different. So there was always different levels of
Yeah,
quality,
it wasn't consistent.
things like that. So they got to a point, they got renewed, and they were like, we want to bring in a full-time sound guy, and they flew me out to Vegas. We went out to the Goldfield Hotel and
Boy, what a first
Right.
location to go to.
and filmed
Yeah.
my first episode just as sound guy. And you know, they would do the investigation, and I would stay outside, and you know, I would help them kind of set up, and then just wait outside.
yeah.
And then it just kind of evolved from there. And then they called me again and brought me back, and you know,
Yeah.
and then probably about. It happened pretty quick, I think, like because it was such a small group of people. You know, we don't have even now, like we still don't have a big crew. Like it's a very small, you know, group of people that are pretty much family at this point. And you know, I remember the one day we just got back from Jamaica, and we were
You guys did an investigation in Jamaica?
yeah we investigated Johnny Cash's old house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
I've heard about that one. I haven't
I didn't
covered
even
it
know he
on
had a
my
house
We
up
did
there.
that
Yes,
one, and
he
we did 2 parts. We did that, and then we did Rose Hall with the Rose Hall, the witch out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I covered her
Oh,
on my
nice,
channel, and that was interesting.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that was
and I
really
got
cool.
now I got to go back and watch,
Yeah.
because I haven't seen that episode, but I covered it, and some of the things that they said was going on in there, I was like,
Yeah, it was a wild place.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to investigate because I was just doing sound at the
Right.
time. But then afterwards, I want to say maybe we were driving to Bisbee, Arizona or something. And I was riding in the car, and Zach was like, oh, Jay, you got to listen to this EVP we got in Johnny Cash's house, because he knows I'm a fan and big into music. And you hear Zach say, do you like Johnny Cash's music? And you hear this, yeah, like, come through. And I'm just like, that sounds
wait
like
a
Johnny
minute, right?
And he's like, right? I thought so. And I was like, you know what you could do? You could actually take that voice and you could do a waveform analysis and take a sample of Johnny Cash's voice and then compare the 2 waveforms almost like fingerprints and
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
see the frequency ranges and the peaks and valleys and see if it actually matches
Right.
with the EVP. And he's like, you can do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a nerd.
George,
Right.
that's the equivalent of like Zach being like a little league baseball coach, and Jay walks up, just hits a homer, and he's like, God damn it, I found my kid.
Right, yeah. I
was
didn't
like,
know that
yeah.
was a thing, that your voice had a fingerprint, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah. So then he was like, oh, well, we'll have you do that at the end of the episode as analysis. And that was my first appearance. Mm-hmm. But actually, technically, my first appearance was earlier in that episode because an impromptu soccer game broke out. We were doing an interview, and these Jamaican guys just started playing soccer behind us. And, of course, they were like, oh, let's play. And we filmed it. But it was just the 3 of them, and they needed a 4th, and we didn't really need to run sound. So I just put my kit down, and they're like, Jay, come play. So you see me playing soccer. And if anyone's ever seen that episode, I can run better than that. I will say as a disclaimer, about a month prior, I was skateboarding at the Winchester Mystery House and I broke my ankle.
What a weird place to break your ankle.
And, and being
not only
who
that,
I am,
why were you even participating? See, resilience, because I would have been like, y'all got it. Y'all,
I mean,
if Zach Baggins invites me to play soccer, I'm going to play soccer.
Yeah,
even though
I mean,
haven't-
pretty much-
that one, and I don't recommend this to anyone. Like I basically healed it with a bag of frozen peas every night and just kind of kept it to myself.
Now, did you lead in goals that
no,
game?
No. I think they kicked her ass.
I was about to say, they're Jamaicans. They're good at what
Find
they
out
call
like
football.
Zach's true calling was to be like front.
But where's the credit? He broke his ankle
And still
and
was
healed
there.
it with a bag of peas.
Listen,
Are we
this
not
man
gonna
is
give him-
indestructible. I mean, he hangs out with ghosts.
There's been
for
a
the
few
most-
times that I've done that. Actually, even about a year and a half ago, my ankle completely dislocated and my foot was 90 degrees sideways.
Oh.
Yeah, when I met you, you had the
my
boot
gosh.
on.
Yeah, and I my buddy was taking me to the hospital, and in his car, I just grabbed it and I just popped it back.
Oh
in
my
place.
gosh.
And then I get to the hospital, they're like, "It's not broke. Like, did this really happen?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah?
And they're like, "Well, why? It doesn't just pop back into place." I was like, "No, I put it back in place."
Oh my gosh.
and they're like, "Well, it's just really
the
swollen and sprained."
indestructible
And
man that hangs out with ghosts for a living.
And then did you just go back to the shoot the next day?
Yeah.
pretty much. Well, I mean, technically, the doctor was like, "Stay off it for 6 weeks," and I think we did a Halloween special at Devil's Island outside San Francisco. Did a couple house calls episodes.
Like the next week?
Pretty much, yeah. I think I took a few days,
I just
Later
got this
around.
job. I'm not getting fired.
That is true. That is true. Like I don't
Wait,
even,
on my life
this
for a
was
job
like
like
a year
this.
ago.
Oh yeah.
no, he just got the job. He's not gonna. That's still the mentality. That's why he's been there for over a decade.
Yeah. So someone in the chat said, "How can I know for sure my house is haunted? I've had things fly off my counter and the trail of tears came through my area. I live in Northeast."
I would say that last statement alone is like you've got some.
that
Yeah,
area. There's a lot of activity for sure.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of. We did a few actually, not on purpose, but we were just doing some during our house calls season, and we ended up doing a bunch of episodes that kind
Yeah.
of fell on the
Yeah.
Trail of Tears, and they were all just next level.
haunted.
I would say if you're there and stuff's flying off
Yeah,
your
I
counter,
mean-
Your air conditioner's not that strong.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, always like try to debunk it, try to figure out if it could,
Right.
do something. Also, I mean, if you, think you might be crazy, then get other people
Right.
to experience it and see
Yeah.
it, and make sure you're not alone. But you're probably not. Like this stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were talking about it on the members only episode, which you should subscribe to be a member if you have not, about like just knowing like whenever knowing that you're not crazy, okay?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, like I said, they call in and they have had these very like deep possession type of stories. And I'm like, and some of them even have said like I was put in hospitals all my life. And have somebody else there, record it, get security cameras because
everybody has a phone or
not
camera in their
lying.
pocket now.
Yeah, everybody's not crazy either. And I see a lot of stuff like all I do is scout videos of the paranormal and things that happen and surround it. And I'm like, some things you cannot debunk unless, people, they do, Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, just watching a video or a photo, it's always hard because you're not there. But at least gives you an idea of what's going on. And
Yeah, for sure. Because even whenever we did our ghost hunt in that picture, I can tell y'all that was not fake. Like,
Yeah.
I was there real time and I was shook.
But I will say too, I don't think it's a good idea to investigate your own home.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I don't
You-
invest-
I don't invite it. No, I don't.
No, no,
I don't
no.
turn on any of my equipment at my
Okay,
house.
so with that being said, would you recommend someone else coming in to investigate?
I mean, if you're at a level where you need that validation, or if it's getting so bad it is, but you need some help, then for sure. But if it's mild and you don't want it to get worse, you don't want it to, I would just
yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever dealt with a bully, like in high
Yes.
school, stuff like that.
sometimes you just got to swing.
No.
Either that, or sometimes like they do it for the attention, they do it for the thrill.
Right.
So like once you kind of like, I grew up with two older brothers, and there was a time they would love to pick on me and like hold me down and do like the little spit thing and then slow
Right.
it back up and like things like that, like just these weird torture
Yeah.
things. And I remember the day I got to a point where I kind of was just like, I don't care, go ahead, just do it. And then they never
It's
did it
not
again.
fun anymore.
Yeah,
End it.
Right.
End it now.
stopped
They're
doing
like,
it. Yeah, they
"Oh,
just
I guess
stopped
not."
doing it.
So I would. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Fresh.
I was just wondering, like, when it comes to investigating your own home, like, is one of the reasons that you don't recommend to do it is because, like, essentially, what if the ghost tells you, like, I'm going to kill you all? You know, you're stuck. Like, if you own this, own this home, what do you do at that point?
Ask the guy from Amityville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But,
we had someone that called in, and her house is very haunted, and she owns it, and it's just occurrence after occurrence after occurrence, and she investigated it, and I feel like, and you're the professional, but it's good to investigate to a certain extent just to make sure you're not crazy, because some of these people literally thought they were seeing things
for the validation, for sure.
And I never knew it wasn't. You wouldn't like people really don't recommend doing.
How I look at it is when you investigate, you're opening yourself up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no matter all of us will say, oh, we can close down, and we all do our things, but we still don't know what's going to happen. And I think when you open yourself up that much, especially in your home, you also then have to go to bed. You have to sleep in there. You're vulnerable at that time, and things can like back off, and you'd be like, oh, it's better now. But then they wait for that moment, and you're there 24/7. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's a good place to do it.
They know when you're the most vulnerable.
Exactly.
So do you recommend cleansing?
Yeah, I think so. I think, whatever cleansing in any way that will help you. Like I tell, if you're religious, pray. Go to church, bring in, statues and crucifixes and do whatever you need to do that. If you're not, if you're just spiritual, bring in, whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
Like if it's crystal energy or, even just lighting candles, incense.
Right. Smudging,
it's all,
saging.
Like, when you, like, I grew up studying all this kind of stuff. Like I never signed to one particular belief, but I studied all the beliefs. And ultimately, what it came down to, they're all kind of the same. They're just like in different packages, basically.
How you like your coffee, like I said earlier.
And basically like different things. So like even like if you're just spiritual and you just want to meditate and you have positive affirmations, that's the same thing as praying to Jesus. Like you're just putting out these positive wishes and affirmations.
Sure.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whether you're lighting a candle for your God or you're just lighting a candle for the energy and the vibe.
For me, it's
it's still creating the same response, And I think whatever that is for you personally to create that positive, good environment is what you need to do and focus on, especially if you're having more of a darker haunting.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to take calls here in a minute. I have one more question, and then we'll get to some calls, and then we'll ask you some more questions. So I want to geek out with you because we both do investigations on, not together, but maybe one day together, but like as friends, nothing any more serious. Do you have a favorite? Buy me
dinner first.
Oh, all right. He did buy me dinner the other day, so I guess I gotta return the favor. Do you have a favorite piece of equipment to use during an investigation?
Yeah, myself.
I heard
like
that.
your senses?
Yeah,
I heard that.
Like I ultimately, and I tell people all this all the time. Like that's where it starts. I think we've done this long enough too that we're all well aware of the signs. And like sometimes you're in a big location, you don't want to go through every single spot with every device over and over again. Kind of listen to yourself, listen to your emotions. Like it sounds cliche, but the hair raising on your arm, that's a sign. That's your body reacting to some kind of energy in that environment. So like things like that, when you start noticing those things happening, then you can pull out the different pieces of equipment to then validate. And then it validates it. It makes your claims, your experience more, credible because now you're like, wow, I feel like there's something here. You bring out an EMF meter and it's going off the charts. You're like, okay. And then you bring out a digital recorder and you get an EVP. It's like, wow, like I was actually right. That feeling I had was justified.
Yeah.
Okay, so now actually, what's your favorite piece of tech?
So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot, I think, for different reasons. I like the SLS, or what we use now is the XLS, which was made by our engineer, Jeff Conkle. It's like basically an SLS on steroids, where he's developed it, where you can get facial features.
Wow.
You can actually see finger movements now.
Not just dancing on the pole at the club.
Oh, that is my absolute favorite episode. I wanted to mention that.
Ghosts gotta make money,
Ghosts gotta make money.
Listen, for those who live under a rock, this episode of Ghost Adventures, you guys were at Palomino, right?
Yeah, up in North
and
Vegas.
That's here. I've been there. Okay, mind your business. And it was a ghost of a stripper, and she was putting on a performance. Sis was dropping it down.
Was
and
it the
then,
ghost dancing, or was it the actual cast member dancing
Oh
that
my
took you off the
God.
most? Because when I
It was
seen the
so
person get on
funny.
stage, I said, wait
he
a
was
minute.
he was trying to show us, Zach was trying to show us like
What the
what
ghost
exactly
he did a
was
little
going. I said,
dance,
wait
yeah.
a minute.
But
now.
it was so hilarious, and that is the most memorable because it was
Yeah.
fun, you know, and
Yeah.
that's you guys were having fun, even
Exactly.
though it was kind of creepy. But yeah, I told y'all here in Vegas, the strip clubs, the casinos, the old buildings,
yeah.
everywhere is haunted. It's
yeah.
no one gets
Even
a pass.
brand new build houses are haunted. Like,
Yeah.
You
it's
just think of the
crazy.
land.
Have you guys had anybody tell you that the new builds are haunted as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done homes that are, maybe they're built in the 90s or
Yeah.
early 2000s. But that's the thing. I don't know if you know the term 86, like to
Yeah.
kill somebody.
Oh,
That
okay.
that basically means 8 miles out of town, 6 feet deep.
Wait a minute.
Ah.
Wait a minute.
Hey, do you know how many times I used the term 86 at the casino?
Yes.
I never knew it meant killing somebody.
Oh my God.
Is that why you're not allowed back, or?
Right.
No,
yes,
so at the
that's-
casino,
yeah.
they'll tell you,
So,
security will tell you you're
You're
86.
86.
Oh, well, yeah, that
And
just
I
means
thought
like
that was
blacklisted.
code for something.
right,
But back in the day, that's what it meant. It was like
Damn, they straight up said they can
86
kill you,
on it.
Mr. Freeze.
So it's like that means you take them about at least 8 miles out of town and you put them 6 feet
Think about
under.
so
So you think about
the
how big
Aliante.
Vegas was,
Yeah.
right? From center, I don't know if you go from like Fremont
Yeah.
or area, you go 8 miles out, like it's all built up now.
Yeah.
But
those
that was
are
desert.
homes,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
because
know somebody who bought a brand new house in the Aliante, and they were
Like,
like, "My house
brand
is
new.
crazy haunted."
Well,
And
I've
it was
heard
like
stories too.
2022 build.
Like I don't know anybody specific, but I've heard things that it's so common to find stuff buried in the desert that like if they're building construction and they find like remains or something, it all gets shut down. But there's been so much that they kind of just be like, all right, never mind."
put
They
some
don't
more
even
dirt over
report
it.
it. They just kind
Yeah.
of
Or you
I
just,
can
hey,
believe
we
that.
got it.
because
It's
it
on the
shuts
curb.
everything down now,
Yeah.
and you have to go through all this thing.
Time is money.
No, I totally like believe you, and I wish that I had known that there was a house, which I just learned that you guys did like a series of house calls
Yeah,
because
house
I would
calls.
have called you for my house in
yeah.
North, and it's not even old.
Right.
That's
Oh,
the
the one
worst
with
part.
like the flies.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was a D word, and I believe it was down my toilet somewhere because it
Right.
was just
Same.
that bad. No, seriously.
No,
Yeah,
mine's just a
it was
Taco
a-
Bell demon. But
You know what? We're not talking about them kind of demons, sir.
No, not release this demon. No, but it was so haunted. Remember, we just said children don't have veils. My daughter can see the dead occasionally. We kind of practice telling her like, not today, Max.
Right.
We're not doing it,
Yeah.
So it's kind of as she's getting older, it's shut off. But we had probably the most haunted house in
Right.
North Las Vegas. It was.
It was so much
insane.
energy in that house, like it made us scared.
Yeah.
Like even other spiritually sensitive people that would come over, like they wouldn't stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think too, like there's a whole thing that a lot of people don't talk about is that everything has memory.
Yeah.
So like any organic surface, like this table has a memory. These walls have
Stone
a memory.
tape theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the stone tape theory. And
which
like-
is what I adopted because he taught me about it. I've told you about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and we know like through the scientists that
Yeah.
did the experiment with water molecules that you can positive and negative energy can actually change water on a molecular level. And we're 70% water, so what's that positive negative energy doing to us on a molecular level?
Right.
And then these walls or anything that organic substance has some amount of water in it. So that's actually changing molecularly. You
Yeah.
know, so if you have someone, even if you're like you're in a new home, but someone got into a big fight and there was a big argument, like
It's memory and
it's
all
in
of
the
that.
walls,
Yeah.
and like someone new could walk in the next day and be like, "Whoa,
What?
something
That's why
happened
they
in
say
here."
like it's
don't even
the
take out the
energy
trash
is
and I'm
thick.
mad.
The air is thick. You can tension.
Exactly.
And I always tell like my patrons and people like energy never dies. It just keeps moving even at the molecular level. So be careful what you put out, but that still goes. That's the same for spirits and trauma and all that other stuff.
It could be the land, too.
Yeah,
Especially
listen,
here.
She told me. She's like, Mom, there is a lady outside soaking wet with long black hair and a white nightgown, and she's kind of grayish. And when I tell you, I almost shat my pants. I was like, no, there's not. No,
Sounds like The Ring.
yeah,
right?
it was very like it was crazy the things we were seeing, even to the point where I had a friend that was a clairvoyant type of medium, being, and she came over and she's like, "Yep, it's time to move."
Yeah.
Because
was
she used to come
crazy.
over all the time, and she would tell us like, "There's a little boy
running around
protecting
her
you
house.
guys.
Yeah.
Right.
He has on like older clothes, like he's protecting you guys. And then one night she stayed the night, and she's like, he sat on the couch with me all night. Like I slept, and he sat there and watched over me all night.
Something was wrong with that house, and and then whenever I moved out, because I was only renting, I went to the realty company and turned the keys in all confidently, just dropped them. I was like, let me ask you a question. Did anybody ever say like that house? Because mind you, this house was built in like 2010.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was that old. Anybody ever tell you something's wrong with the house? And he looks at me, he smirks. He's like, what was wrong with it? I said, you knew. You knew. No wonder why.
Bastard.
5-bedroom, brand new house in a Newport in North Las Vegas, and it's only $1,800.
Right.
You scammed me. You knew.
They knew.
But that energy, it never dies.
I never heard that explanation with energy before, so like, it was
isn't
really
it dope?
fascinating.
What,
to
the
hear
stone
that.
tape theory?
Yeah,
I talked about it.
Well, you told me.
Well, I did on the Trinity Oracle episode. I talked about it. But I've talked about it a lot.
I don't think I was here though. Was I?
Maybe not.
No, because no, you.
I don't think we had enough headphones. I wasn't.
Yeah,
here.
he wasn't listening. He was here, but he wasn't. He couldn't hear. But the fact that you mix science with the paranormal, because a lot of people say one cannot exist, like they can't coexist in a space, and they absolutely can.
100% can.
Yeah, it's all just energy. And enough physicists have talked about that, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that is insane.
All right, well, we should probably start getting to some calls. So, George,
you better set the tone for them. Sometimes we got some folks that do a lot.
No bill collectors.
No bill collectors.
No bill collectors.
Because if you are calling, we're not. That's not us.
I don't need to extend my car warranty.
No,
I just bought my car. I'm not.
Right.
And we really don't want to hear who you're voting for.
I was just going to say it. This is not a politics
All
show.
I tell you is go vote. I don't tell you who to go vote for. Just go vote.
We've had some.
We voted for Mickey
issues.
Mouse, but whoever you decide to vote for is your business.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some issues a couple times.
George has been. He's been doing I see him doing reps with his fingers on getting ready to click the mute button if you guys get a little too crazy.
Yeah, please.
But so please be respectful. We have a very special guest with us here today. Let's try not to be too weird or crazy. I mean, I already set the bar kind of low there, but we do also have a good amount of callers in, so we do kind of have to enact a timer. George, can you play the sound effect we're going to play when I think they got about 30 seconds? When you hear our Lord and Savior, the Taco Bell bell, that's kind of your cue that we got to kind of wrap it up. We got to get to the next caller. I think we're going to give them about 2 to 3 minutes per call. But with that being said, we can start getting to the first call. So, George, who do we have up first? 0014. You're going to press *6 to unmute.
Please don't be a call about dating. No crazy questions like
How
that.
can I tell if they love me?
No,
Did they say it? No, I don't know. Caller, you are in the room?
Hello?
Caller.
Maybe they fell asleep.
Probably. Listen.
Well, sometimes there's a delay.
Am I unmuted?
There you are. Yes. Hello.
Ah, there we go. Hey, everyone. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Your voice sounds familiar. Did you call last week? Or a couple days ago?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Well, yes. Was it a couple of days ago or last week? I don't even know. We're part of the family now, so it don't matter.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, again, I'm going to go right into a specific story about the time as a little girl, me and my siblings fucked around and found out. Yeah, with the Ouija board.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, we were playing with the Ouija board, a big thing. And the funny thing about it is we knew that, we knew that a Ouija board was more than just a Ouija board, but didn't really know what we was doing. So playing around, it always starts off nice and everything else. And then weird energy started happening in the house. And then we would get bursts of angriness, or we want to really, really fight. And then, you go back to the Ouija board, because then we didn't know that there was a thing about closing out. Or, or doing any of that, you didn't know. And so then when obviously the Ouija board thing flies off, my brother was like, nope, he's for you.
The planchette flew across the room.
Yes. So we packed it up. He ran it downstairs. This was in Brooklyn. He ran it downstairs, put it in a garbage can. closed the garbage can, and we came back up and we were like, nope, we're leaving that alone. Mm-hmm. Next morning, the Ouija board was under his bed.
Why do they do that?
They always come back.
They always come back.
Out. And it's like, how? Nobody knew. Like, my mom didn't know. She knew after. Okay, but she found out when the Ouija board was back and he started screaming, you know. And so then we realized, okay. And from that, we did open up a door, but that's a story for another time. But attachments did come, and the malignant ones we got rid of. And then there was one that stayed with us for almost 10 years after that, gosh. Even when we moved from Brooklyn to Queens.
Oh, my God.
Can I ask you a question? Did you ever get a name when you were from it? Did you ever get a name from it?
No, we didn't get a name because I used to see a lot of stuff. And we lived in a 3 family railroad apartment, and it was owned by Haitians, and he had Haitians on the top of us and Haitians on the bottom of us, and these were first generation Haitians that fully practiced stuff. And again, I used to see a lot of stuff, so I was fearful to ask. You know, once I felt the energy shifting and I started to feel angry, you know, that was like, okay, we don't need to really like ask it anymore, you know. And I think my brother asked, like, do you want us to stop playing or something like that? And that's when the thing flew off, you know. Goodness. But by that time, you know, whatever it was, we were already open, and you know, I wasn't scared of things like that. I was more curious because I used to see stuff, and I thought everybody saw stuff, you know, as a kid. So, yeah.
Oh, that is insane.
But anyway, that was my story. I will go into more depths with that later with you.
Thank you. Well,
Yes,
we appreciate you coming
email format. Yes.
Yes.
But everybody else, yeah, I know, you know, it was, and then it was funny because then, of course, as I got older and then I grew up, and then I realized I count all of us very, very, very fortunate. But I must say, I did hear one of the stories, I think on the Black Cauldron, I believe, or I don't know where it was, where they were talking about somebody who kept getting cut. I used to have to do stuff, and I was always getting cut. I show you so many scars on my hand. Me and my brother, yeah, we used to get cut. And like with him, it was like, you don't go by the window. And after a while, like, I wouldn't wash glasses for for years, because I'm like, no, it seems like it was just like somebody took the glass and would squeeze it and shatter it.
Yeah. Some of these things are dark. My God. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why when we say now, I tell everybody, you know, don't
fuck with Ouija boards. That's the name of the
episode. Then that's it. Fuck around and find out for real.
That's a saying.
But anyway, you guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Jay, love everything. You are to go. Bye.
So I was asking her about the name.
I was expecting to say Zozo or something crazy.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, no.
I just said Lucifer. Does that name ring a bell?
That's not even scary anymore. Like, that's not scary. It's the things that cosplay, especially with Ouija boards. I did a whole video covering, like, and the name of the video is Don't Fuck with Ouija Boards. Yeah. And it was like this big thing on my channel because even though, and I'm going to say this, I have an obsession with the aesthetic of the Ouija board, but isn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful.
Like, I love it, love it, love it.
I've made them.
Yeah.
Made them for a while. And was
Did
selling
you?
Them, yeah.
Wow. I love Ouija boards and just looking at them. But me touching them, because there is an entity that for some reason just likes to destroy, conquer and destroy. Yeah. and it's Zozo. I ain't saying it the third time. It's like Bloody Mary in my head.
I've encountered him many times.
Really? Wait a minute.
What? Just drop
We're
that
just
one.
kind of, I'm like, really? Wait a minute.
Yeah. So when I was probably like 18, 19 years old, I was playing in a band, and one night we're like, all right, we're going to do the Ouija board tonight after band practice.
Oh, God.
And we're like,
Just girly things.
we're all going to go out. Like, we're going to go all out. We're going to do everything we can to like experience something. So, we're setting up with the Ouija board. We have a candle. We have incense burning.
Oh, man.
I had a dagger. I had a water dish. Like, everything.
You had the elements
Did you
and
have the
everything.
goat head yet? Or was that?
The energy capsule and everything.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
that's the thing. We were like, we wanted to go all out. So
Right.
we start talking, and then it's saying we're talking to a little boy spirit. And I had no idea about Zozo at the time. And I kept asking what its name was, and it kept going Z. And then, like, I don't remember if it went to, but it kept going Z. And then, like, moving back and forth. And, like, Z stuck out. And I was like, that's weird. Why does it just keep saying that back and forth? And then I noticed the incense smoke was going down, and it was going down to the dagger. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So I picked up the dagger, put it over there. The incense smoke changed and went to the dagger again.
Yeah.
So then I was like, hey, guys, check this out. And everywhere I moved the dagger, the incense smoke would change and go to the dagger.
That's crazy.
Mr. Fresh and I have the same face.
So I was like, all right. So I was like, okay, this is weird.
Right.
And then I asked, are you attracted to the dagger? And it said yes. And then I asked the stupidest question I've ever asked in my life. I said, can you come through the dagger into us?
Oh,
Jay.
Watch your profanity.
and it said yes. It went to yes. So, we all kind of stopped for a second. We're all like, all right, like, well, this is what we wanted. We wanted to get
to
freaked
experience
out. We
something,
wanted
yeah.
to go all out. So we're like, who's going to do it? So we decided that it would be best for myself and our other guitarist to both hold on to it. It was in a sheath. So we both hold on to it. We lay on the ground and we're like, okay, you can come through us. And I just get this feeling of sadness from my toes.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. I've never felt it since, where like just feeling sadness like in your legs and just move up through your body.
Oh.
My buddy jumps up on top of me. His knees are now on my shoulders. He's trying to pull the knife out of the sheath.
Oh, my God.
I'm fighting him as hard as I can. It breaks open and he pushes the knife towards my throat. And I'm on my back, so I'm holding him like this, shaking, using all my energy to hold him back. And the knife's past my chin and now like right here at my throat.
Oh, my God.
And he's on top of me, so he's like got the force and he's pushing and he's just staring wide-eyed at me. And then it probably lasted about 20 seconds, and then he just went totally limp and just started full crying and had no idea what happened.
Tell me, where the fuck is the other band members at when he's trying to
There was
kill
other
you?
people
Like,
there.
Yeah, they were
were
just
like
in
this.
shock.
yeah.
This is before phones.
Oh, yeah,
This
this
is
was
this
like,
is back
Stone
in the
this
Tablet
was like
days, right?
1999, 2000.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
we didn't have that technology.
No, no,
we
I know, I was
we
just
were
kidding,
we were
but-
playing fucking
Yeah.
Snake.
That is right. We got a Nokia at best.
What was the
there.
website back then? The MySpace alternative?
Oh, it was Black
Black
Planet.
Planet.
Black Planet. That's right. I'm trying to make an account on there.
So that happened, and then after that, we're like, all right, we're good. We're
Right, we're done. We're
so
done.
then fast forward many, many years later, I'm on the show, and we're in Oklahoma City, and there's this guy who's like studied Zozo, and we were at his house that he used to live in, and this is the first time we're actually hearing about it. And at this point, I've told this story now, like I've been in interviews and stuff before, but like at that point, I never talked about it because I never had any experience with the show. And we're like, all right, someone should do the Ouija board. So myself and this guy do the Ouija board. He knows nothing about me. I've never talked about this. We start talking. It says its name's Z again, Z-O. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, have we met before? And it says yes. And I was like, what did you try to do with me or do to me? And it said kill. And then it like spelled out like stab or something. I was just like, all right, like this guy has no idea, but this happened. And then I told that story afterwards, obviously. And then another time it was in the driveway of my house. It came out, but that's when I like kind of it's been an ongoing.
Is this at the house you're currently at?
Oh no, this was in Nashville.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, I'm like, I've been there. And he didn't tell me.
The time in Nashville, you weren't playing with the Ouija board.
No, I had two of my friends were because I was like at that point I was like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I've had too many experiences and I've kind of gone through things to. I went through a lot to block it and get rid of it, which I feel has been successful. So I didn't want to open that back up again. But they were encountering it, and it was interesting because they didn't know what I've done.
What the hell, yeah.
And what I've done in the past and like that. But it was saying these things, and the Zozo was saying that it can't hurt them because they're around me. And it was just like, I was like, oh, cool. Well, it worked.
well,
All
good.
right.
Right.
So I'm wondering, was this entity like specifically following you around? Because
No, this is
every time he had
vermins.
access, but every time he
Yeah.
had access to a Ouija board,
He's like,
Here
hey,
comes-
bestie.
So this like it's kind of a worldwide phenomena that
Yeah.
this demon comes through Ouija boards.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
He's
It was actually funny
gross.
because there was a random time I was outside of Nashville. I was at a Waffle House. I was by myself.
Those are
just-
portals too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I
and, I
love
was, and I was just eating. I was eating up at the bar at the Waffle House, and there was these two girls like a few seats down, and I just hear like I'm not eavesdropping, but they're right there talking, and then I hear them just going like, "Oh, are we gonna do the Ouija board again tonight?" So I'm like, "What?" Like,
Right. Well, like I'm not
okay.
listening, but I'm
like, all right.
listening.
Like I perked up a little bit. I'm like,
Right.
okay, what? And they're like, yeah, it was weird that Zozo name. What was that? Like,
man.
Listen here, ladies. It's hard for
And
me
they
to
were
eat
like,
my
yeah.
fucking All-Star or whatever you guys are talking about Zozo,
Right.
okay?
yeah, and they were just like so like they didn't realize like what
Yeah.
it was, but they were saying like this name came through, and I was like,
Yeah.
hold on. Like I
Right.
must have looked like some crazy guy at Waffle House.
Right.
Like, don't.
It's like the horror movie.
Right.
You don't know what it possesses.
Zozo tried to kill me 6 years ago. Be careful.
Yeah, and I literally told them that, and they were like, "Oh my god!"
I've been on the run for the last 10 years.
Right. Yeah, no, Zozo is like it's a Ouija board roach. It lives there, roaches never die, they just multiply, and that's what I think about, like how I think about it, but it is worldwide. There have been
That's crazy.
every country everywhere has had this story about this
All right,
demon.
so two follow-up questions. And this is for the whole group. So is this Zozo entity, is it attached to whoever owns the company that's producing these Ouija boards?
I don't know where
Because
it's
It's
from.
Hasbro. Mine is from Hasbro.
No, it was not originally Hasbro.
No, but mine is. Like,
Right.
But what I'm saying, it has to, because why is it attaching to Ouija board? You don't hear that name. I've never heard that name before.
Yeah.
So,
a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't hear it to like spirit boxes or anything. You just hear it to
you
Ouija
just-
boards.
Yeah. So from my small research for the video I was doing, they created them, and then people that like loved ones out in the war, they were basically seeing if their person had died in war. They were using it to communicate with spirit.
So
and
this is
then
something
it
that's
just
been around for
manifests.
many
Yes,
moons.
and then it just manifested. Like he's buried, and I forgot where he's buried. It's somewhere so like the person that
Zozo?
created it.
Oh yeah, because his
His
tombstone
is so dope. It's a Ouija board.
Ouija board
And so,
creator.
yes.
Gravesite. We have
I
the world at our
promise,
fingertips. Greenmount
what's his name?
Cemetery in
Elijah Bond.
Yep, Elijah
Yes.
Bond.
How much money is the Bond family making off of these Ouija boards? That was my second
I
question.
don't know how
Well,
it
they
got
might have
stuck
sold
in
the
there.
rights to it.
How
Probably.
profitable are Ouija boards at this point?
yeah.
It's just a form of divination that's
Yes,
gone
it is.
back even before Ouija boards. I know there was a story of like witches during Salem and even back where they would actually use flour.
Yes.
Because like that way they could just wipe it real quick if someone
Right.
comes in and they'd be like,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm not doing anything."
No,
Yeah.
I didn't summon
But
a
they would
demon.
use that for
and,
divination
and that's
and
why I tell
communication.
people like be careful whenever you're using tools of divination, because I know people that use Ouija boards right now and they swear by them and they've never had a bad experience. Hell, even my necklace is a
I was
pendulum.
going to say, you wear a
and
pendulum as a form of
Some
divination.
people have the little circle board that goes with the pendulum, and it's very similar to a Ouija
Oh, yeah,
board.
that's it right there.
Yeah, this is just chef's kiss. I love it.
Are we doing that for ours?
Maybe.
Should we get like?
I
Should
want
we,
a
like
birthday
you-
cake.
should
like
we have
that.
the Calls from Beyond like crew just all get buried in the same spot? Have you guys thought about that?
You should
Yeah.
have it like
One on top
horizontal
of
on
the
the
other.
ground though, so people can actually use it.
That would be
That
Ayo,
would be so dope.
That
but-
would be such a hot spot. Could you imagine
Oh,
in a
yeah.
cemetery using the headstone of the person who created
God.
it?
Can
Well,
I
they
put
go
like
out
a
there-
donation bid? Because I know
No,
you can.
we should
like,
call
I've heard
them.
you can-
We should call them and tell them, "Hey, you should lay it down." So people
Lay it
can
down,
actually
but we'll
That's
cover
why
it.
they put
But
it
we'll cover
upright.
it. We'll come be the film crew. We'll cover it first.
Yeah,
But
but
do
it's,
it.
it's
Yeah.
it's a beautiful headstone. But people go out there, they take graveyard dirt from him to use in.
But you shouldn't be taking graveyard dirt though.
It depends.
Hold
If you
on,
talk
it
to-
depends.
You got to get their permission first.
Okay.
Right.
I guess.
Well, I wouldn't go to anybody but someone that is my ancestor. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
you
not-
don't wanna- you
but
don't wanna
you
take
can't.
Let
the
me just
wrong
roll up to
person's dirt.
this person at the graveyard. Hey, I'm gonna take some of your dirt. Is that cool?
Yeah. So, and what he said, like they use everything as divination tools: flowers, bones, necklaces. they have these little, and I only do tarot and the pendulum, but they have these little.
What are they? Chunk.
No.
Oh,
chamalangos. That's a form of
Chamalangos.
Chanclas?
I mean,
Same.
even like,
I didn't know how to say it.
When you drink a cup of tea and what's left at the bottom, you can read that.
Oh, yeah, didn't they do that in Harry
Divination
Potter?
I've never
Yes,
heard that.
yes.
reading tea
There
leaves.
was like a divinations course in Harry Potter, right? In
Yeah.
the third one. And she
Kinda,
was
yeah.
like, you
Yep.
look at it and she's like, you're going to
Yeah.
get cancer. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it's a bunch of different methods, and but for some reason, this Ouija board, I don't know who trapped this spirit in there, but it's universally known. I have seen plenty of videos from all over the world of people communicating with Zozo, and it's never good. It's never good. It's actually insane.
I had an epiphany real quick about the divination comment. So when you come down to it, though, it kind of takes you back to what Jay said when he said that his favorite tool is himself. Because at the end of the day, you're the car for the whatever source
you're
of
the driver.
divination.
Well, that's
Right.
why one of the number one rules of a Ouija board is you don't do it by yourself.
No.
Yeah.
So
never.
that like you're the only, if you're doing it by yourself, you're the only one there. So
I feel
you're
like you
more
shouldn't do
likely to
anything paranormal by
get taken
yourself.
over. Well, that's the thing too. It's like it gets into the debate, like even running a spirit box.
Yeah.
That's a form
Yeah.
you're opening up communication to the dead. Like any kind of form of communication is technically the same thing, really.
It's a form of divination, and it just comes down to it's how you like your coffee.
Yeah.
Speaking of graveyard dirt, I asked Luna to call in and tell the Annabelle story because I want Jay to hear
Oh
this.
my gosh,
So I
that
know
would be
she's in
so-
the room, so we're gonna bring
Yes.
Annabelle or Luna in to talk about that Annabelle. So she's an Annabelle doll story of like being like directly. Luna, is that you?
Yeah.
Hello.
everybody.
Hey.
Hey. Yep. So, crazy Annabelle story. I met Annabelle in 2021 at the first Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon, and I hope everybody's doing well. I know we're on a time limit today,
No,
so I'm
you're
just
fine.
busting right in.
You're fine.
I asked you to come on. I'm not gonna be like,
Okay.
come tell your story. By the way, you have 10 seconds.
Right. No, you're good.
2.5 minutes. Hurry up. No, we're good.
Yeah, right. I might be able to, but yeah, no, I'm kidding. But so basically, 2021 Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon. This was like when I was opening up to my gifts. For those that may not know, I consider myself a psychic medium that specifically specializes in the paranormal. I've worked with clients all around the world, multiple haunted cases, and Annabelle is no joke. I've had a few haunted object cases, and they are totally different. Going up there, we stopped by New Market, Virginia, because it's a 15-hour drive from NC where I live. And it was Halloween weekend. You know, the veil is thin during that time anyways, they say, and I believe it, you know, especially now. I know it is. And we stop in New Market. I literally end up getting spiritually attacked in the hotel room that night because we ended up staying on a battleground. New Market is actually like a Civil War battleground. I was literally next to a Civil War museum. That was wild. So I'm spiritually depleted. We finally get to Connecticut after about 24 hours. The event was the next day. And, you know, we're chilling. We're just hanging out at the event, you know. Got to meet Tony Sparrow, which was awesome, you know, because we kind of grew up watching that stuff. And finally, it became time to meet Annabelle. So we're all going in like a single file line. The funeral procession, it's like a funeral procession, honestly. Everybody's solemn and quiet, but everybody had their phones. And I didn't really feel anything, you know, off of Annabelle. But, you know, they put up a lot of protections around the doll. But there were other items from the Warren's Occult Museum there. And, you know, I wasn't trying to doubt Annabelle, but I kind of did. And I learned my lesson because you have to, you know, it wasn't in a disrespectful way, but we did say, like, that might not be the real Annabelle. But we knew it was, but it just didn't didn't have that. You normally get a feeling when you're around darkness. Does that make sense? And we did not. So we make jewelry and little terrariums, like necklaces or either pendants out of resin and just gems and all kinds of stuff, especially a lot back then in 2021. So my fiance, V, he was like, I want to get some graveyard dirt, like outside of, you know, the Warrens' graveyard. And I'm like, no, please don't. And, you know, I was, because he's very stubborn. He's like, it would just be cool. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it's not cool, and we kind of went back and forth a couple months, and we had a good, little bout back and forth. And finally he kind of agreed to disagree. And I'm like, you're grown, go ahead, basically F around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the graveyard dirt after we met Annabelle, all was fine and everything. And we put it in our rental car. And the crazy thing is, at the time, I didn't realize what was about to happen was associated with Annabelle. There's a lot of, I'm leaving out some things. I'm just, but I'm getting to the point. So he takes the graveyard dirt. I'm like, I'm not touching it. I don't want, I basically, I'm like, I rebuke this.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't want to touch it. We had a 15-hour drive back home, cool, awesome event. Everything was going fine. We were tired though. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm doing 70 down, 220 coming back into North Carolina. I'm like 45 minutes away from home. I'm flying and there's nobody on the road. It's dark. And I don't know what this was in the middle of the road, but it was literally like two black boxes that were perfectly spaced apart with a metal prong sticking up on each one of the black boxes. And I was cresting a hill and it was dark, even with my brights on. I mean, by the time I saw it, I had a second to react, and we hit those square dead on the tires. As soon as we hit them, like, I almost lost control of the vehicle, and now granted, Annabelle thinking maybe that wasn't her, man, it ain't as big a deal as it should have been, because I still didn't fully understand what I was to become today. Like, and I, like I said, learned my lesson, but we hit, and luckily I kept control of the vehicle. It was wobbling pretty bad. And we pull over and we're like, we just popped a tire. It's going to be okay. We've got a spare, no big deal. No. It bent the rim. So and it was a rental car.
Oh,
yeah.
that's even
So we
worse.
had to get in the trunk. Yeah, it was bad. And, the rental car is already like almost $1,000 at this point, or like some of it, So, we pull over and we get in the trunk, and it's like 2:30. We're all pissed. It's just me and my fiance, but we're pissed. And I was, adamant on not touching that graveyard dirt. But at this point, while we're like pulling stuff out of the trunk and everything, the graveyard dirt spills in the back of the trunk. And I was like, F it. I just start picking it up and putting it in the cup. Well, I'm just like, I'm ready to get home. Like this is, we got to go. Okay. Because now I'm mad because I know I'm going to spend more money. I done spent quite a bit of money going up here, and, so it's 2:30. I'm angry at night or in the morning. I'm like the nicest person ever, but if you catch me in the morning, it's not fun. But yeah, so, put the graveyard dirt back in there. And as I put my hands on the dirt, it like taps me in, kind of like I tune in a lot more. And I start to feel the spirits that were pretty angry, that were really going to get back at, us at this point, because now I've become a part of containing the dirt as well. And I start to feel like a half moon of spirits around us, and they're like closing in on us. And I'm like, look, this is getting creepy. We got to go, and at that time I didn't realize that people that were doubted Annabelle, disrespected Annabelle, and like it wasn't intentional, right? Which is kind of a lesson here for people that, may want to be around objects or even spirits of such. Like there is some level of respect, even if you don't agree with it, that needs to be had, whether it's light or dark. I didn't realize people, at that time, it didn't click. I knew it, but, people that was around Annabelle, they got into wrecks or had some type of car accidents. And this was within 24 hours of meeting Annabelle. And yeah, and all the people were just standing, like these spirits, I say people, but they were like people spirits, so human, but they were just like closing in. I could feel it. And my fiance could even feel it. And I'm like, we got to get them out of here. We got to go. This is too much. And he's changing the tire, and my phone, I set my phone, I thought, in the car. This is another thing I didn't say last time I left out. I set my phone on in the car, I believed. And all of a sudden, in front of the vehicle, I see like this 10-foot tall, like white being of light. And it was like registered with me, like that was the warning. And I was trying to say, babe, get out from under. And as soon as I said, get out from under, I could not finish my sentence. The car almost was like pushed from the back, it looked like, and the jack fell within like 3 inches of almost crushing my fiance. Wow. Like at least some part of his body. It wouldn't have been his whole body, but like his arm or his leg or something. Yeah. And like I saw that 10-foot tall white being and I'm like, oh, not today. This ain't happening. So we put the spare on and we literally hightail it home. But before we got home, I had brought, all my, I guess you could say, witchy stuff, like my sage and my rocks and my holy oil. Like I was already prepared for anything at that point. And I had him stop by a graveyard near the house because we sure as hell went driving back to Connecticut. And I had him, he's like, what do I do? I'm like, well, you need to go in here and you need to truly apologize and be like, I'm sorry, I did not know. Please forgive me. And I had him replace that graveyard dirt in a graveyard near our house. And I had him like put the stones on top of it as kind of like an offering, a peace offering. Like, we're sorry, and luckily nothing else happened. But that was my Annabelle story. And then, I have my other haunted object crazy story I told you about the girl that looked like the Grudge. But
it's intense. It is intense because, and this is like a cautionary for everybody that's watching. Don't take graveyard dirt
that you don't have permission to take.
Right. Yeah. Like there's certain things, depending on what you believe in, that you have to do before you just decide, oh, I'm going to take somebody's graveyard dirt. No. I'm into a little bit of everything, and I don't even go and take graveyard dirt because it is energetically charged. Like it's a part of someone's final resting place.
Yeah. I was always curious. There was a time we actually flew Annabelle out to Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I was just wondering. I didn't know she traveled.
Well, she did. This is the first time she ever did.
Right.
Like she did for us. Mm-hmm. But part of the deal is we had to buy her a seat. She had her own seat on the plane. So I always just imagined
people are like,
other people on the plane like looking over and seeing.
Right. I would just be sitting there like, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look at it.
Could you imagine being a person that booked the flight sitting on the
right,
other side of Annabelle? Like Annabelle sitting in the middle, her handler sitting in the aisle, and you're sitting in the window.
Yeah,
and
she got a middle seat. You're like, help me God the whole time.
Was she still in the case?
I don't know. I mean, I'm probably.
Yeah.
Do you have to like bargain
I
with
like to
Annabelle,
imagine
though?
she was just sitting there. But.
Yeah, like you're like, hey, Annabelle, let me get the
I think
window
she
seat.
was in a suitcase.
Yeah,
I think you put her in a suitcase.
Because every time I've seen Annabelle, she was in her case, and it's like, do not under any circumstance touch. You know,
we took her out in the museum.
Oh wow!
And we had her sitting in a chair.
The one right there?
Yeah, just a couple blocks away. Yeah.
And you want to go there?
Well, I do want to go there.
So
like,
hold on. Well, let me tell you the rest of that. So we had an SLS camera on her, and we mapped in. She mapped in, and then there was a time Zach went up and touched her, and then after touching her, the skeleton, the spirit body inside her left out of her, and then it was a free floating skeleton, and then it went back and it went down the hall of the museum and never came back.
So,
so Annabelle's spirit is still inside.
Hold on.
We're not going to skip over this.
Right.
Annabelle's spirit is still down the street.
It sounds like it. In
part of it, or it could be. That's
so today somebody was like, you should totally go to the museum because they have like a VIP where they lock you in the basement.
All right, yeah.
And I'm like... Sure, that sounds fun.
See, they're scared,
do it with me.
They're scared of the other doll, but they don't realize that Annabelle is really running wild over there.
Yeah, well, even there's Peggy the doll there. That's
Peggy.
That's the
Peggy.
one. Yeah. That's the one that we were talking about earlier.
So we had it was a producer, someone that shoots like the B-roll and the reenactments for a show, and he went in, and we weren't even there. He was just getting shots for us, and he went into Peggy's room, and he was kind of just, he's just a camera producer guy, and he was just like, F you, Peggy.
Oh
no.
Like kind of as a joke, like kind of just like,
I ain't scared.
And then I remember he calls, like, he got in touch with us. As soon as he did that, just instantly his nose just started gushing blood.
Wow.
And he was just like, all right, that's it. I believe I'm not messing around anymore.
That is
Imagine
crazy.
putting Annabelle and Peggy in the same room and having them have a contest of who's better.
Oh my God.
Just face each other. It's like putting magnets.
No, so, okay. But we're going to go back to the skeleton because the skeleton is like the green thing, right? The little,
like the stick figure that appears.
It looks like a stick figure, y'all. I just wanted to make sure I had it right. So the spirit, the stick figure, came out of Annabelle, walked away, and never came back. So really, this could be an empty doll at this point.
Could be, or if there's multiple spirits, I mean, who knows? You know,
How many
it is just
entities
one
possess
particular
Annabelle?
entity, or it's like a conduit for multiple, or I mean, she could even be a portal herself.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility that Zach freed one of the
One of
Annabelles.
the many. Yeah. I mean,
There's
it freed
something from
itself.
it for sure.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
Well, Luna, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
calling in and
so
tell that
much.
story again. I'm glad we were able to hear it.
So what
Yeah,
other?
you're
I'm
welcome.
sorry, I forgot she was still on. Thank you, Luna.
You're
Thank you, Luna.
Yeah,
I got
you're
additional
welcome.
questions.
I was just gonna.
She was still talking. She was still talking.
Can you hear me now?
No, he's like, my bad, our bad.
Luna, are you still there? Okay,
Are you
Luna.
back?
Hey,
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
just gonna say. Yeah, I was just gonna say one last thing. You're right about that. In my personal opinion, haunted objects. There is like some type of. A lot of haunted objects have a lot of similarities, and they are not human entities that are associated with a lot of these haunted objects. Yes, you have energy from humans that have fragments of energy and stuff and attachments. But Annabelle is in a category of her own. It is like a portal. There is a dominant spirit that is there, and these things are omnipresent in their own sense. Not like God or whatnot, but yes, that is correct. It's like a fractal of that spirit. But that's all I was going to add. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you,
Luna.
Luna.
Thank
You as
you
well.
so much.
That's the things that nightmares are made of, because I'm actually working on a haunted objects video, right?
Yep.
And it's this girl, and I fell down her rabbit hole that it starts off like, and to the person who stole those dolls that were sitting outside of my house, yeah, they're haunted, and they move on their own.
Right.
No takesy backs, right? So
Takesy backs.
she had them for a couple of years because she was afraid, like the dolls. So people are like, bullshit, we don't believe you, right? And so she goes back on her camera roll and shows the times that these dolls were moving on its own. Tell me why whoever stole the dolls, because she had 3 of them, but one of them was really like a Hellraiser. They brought the Hellraiser back and
Oh, right, and dropped
was
it off.
apologizing, like, I'm sorry I took your doll.
Damn.
And it's like, it can't be human. They're sitting on the bed, they're moving on their own, and I'm like, this is crazy. And now she has like a haunting in her house.
Right.
Because she had a Chucky doll, which everybody has a Chucky doll, I feel like.
Yeah.
That was
I don't.
moving too. I don't either. But I mean, that's the common doll, like a
Right.
horror doll. And that moves on its own too now. And I'm just like, and they're old.
Right.
They're super old.
Be having a yard sale real quick.
Yeah, she kept
No,
them-
nothing's wrong with this doll at all.
No, and she was so slick about it because she keeps them in a glass cabinet, like locked away, and it's condensation, like they're breathing on the glass.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. And so she took them out and set them, and she put a sign that says, "Hey, these dolls are fucking haunted.
Yeah.
Make an offer," just to get them out of her house. And somebody stole them in the middle of the night because she didn't want to bring them back in. So yeah, I'm gonna send that series to you. I was 3:00 this morning.
I think
down the
I
rabbit
did
hole.
see that. It was a white lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that
like,
one.
to the person that stole my
Yeah.
dogs, they were haunted. No takes backs. Don't bring it back, please. But yeah, haunted objects are a phenomenon on their own. I don't believe that it's human. I just don't. I don't get the human feeling from it. It's
What was the one show we watched where old boy was possessed by? Was it Chucky?
wait, which one? We watched so much morbid shit.
The one with the
Narrow it down.
the singer dude, Luke James. He was possessed by the Chucky doll.
Oh, the Raggedy Andy. Okay, so
Or it was Raggedy Andy. My bad. But it was a doll.
I gotta look it up. You have to watch this. It's on FX, and it's about a
I can't
serial
remember what it was
killer.
called, but he was possessed by
Yeah,
Raggedy Andy.
yeah. I have to look it up, but very good show, and yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
shit's
remember
scary.
when Post Malone came to the
Oh,
museum.
yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
And him and Zach were there after hours, and Zach touched the Dybbuk box.
Big
And
mistake.
Post didn't even touch the Dybbuk box, but he touched Zach and
Mm-hmm.
then like stop. And then right after that, I think there was like 3 different things that happened.
Crashed
to
his
him.
airplane.
His airplane crashed. He got into a
That's
car crash,
crazy.
and then someone broke into his old
Mm-hmm.
house and like was looking for him at gunpoint and stuff. And it
It's
was like a whole series of 3
of bad
terrible
shit.
events.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know he's from Texas, but does he live in Utah?
Yeah, he moved
Yeah.
out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because he has his own Chick-fil-A out there. It used to be
He
right
has
down the
his own
street.
everything.
No, it was down the street from our crib. So
Yeah.
like they had
when we lived there
Post
for
Malone
years.
big as hell on the side of the building.
And I'm like, I'm super. I said we
Oh,
were just
George
driving.
has it pulled up right here.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm like, is that Post Malone?
Yo, shout out KTNV, Channel 13.
Hold up, time out. They was on the news.
Oh,
Post
of
Malone.
course. Yeah, because it was
course.
like a big thing. Of course, the source is Zach Baggins.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was the security camera at the
Yeah.
museum.
That's insane. Why are you touching that? That's scary.
Because that's like we were saying about Austin going to the Pioneer Saloon.
Yeah, but like the Pioneer Saloon isn't known for like being a
what
tomorrow.
was
this
he
is
doing?
his
What was he
establishment.
That is
doing?
true. So it's a Dybbuk box.
No, I mean, whenever Post Malone leaned in, he
So
like,
he was like trying
he
to
was
stop
trying
him.
to help Zach, I think, is what he was trying to do. Like Zach was being affected at the time,
And-
he
but wouldn't let go, yeah.
and he wouldn't let go. And I think he was trying to get him to touch it. And then Posty's just like, "Oh, let's go outside. Like, come on, let's go."
yeah, yeah.
Like,
As soon as
let's
he
get
touched
outta
him, he
here."
let go.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
hey, he
So
was about
the
to leave
theory
him in
was
there.
that whatever was going through it kind of passed through, and then
Almost like when you hold hands and somebody touches like an electric fence
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But did you see how Zach jumped back?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was like he snapped him out of it as soon as
Yeah.
as soon as he touched him.
security footage don't lie. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We have it for our ghost hunt from the studio. We used that footage.
That's
I'm trying
crazy.
to find the.
How
It's
many- what
called-
was this, like 2017, 2018?
yeah, it was definitely pre-COVID. I know. that.
Right.
Oh, it's called Them, but it has. It's
6
almost
years.
like
6 years ago.
American Horror Story, like how they have the different seasons and it's the same characters, but it's really good. But season 2 is what we were talking about. I don't want to spoil it for y'all. Y'all got to go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. But
George, do we have that image on the email?
Uh-oh.
It's from our investigation. I think I showed Jay once, but I just want to show him again of what we caught. And you willingly walked back there, Jay. Like I didn't even have to tell you. You were just like, all right, here, because like it's where we all worked. It's like where all our desks were in the studio.
And I can say this is not photoshopped. Like this
No, we
happened
saw it in
real.
the moment.
I said, what in the hell is that? Because Fran was like, there's something in the back.
Yeah, Franny, who was running base camp at the time, was like, I see something like on the security cam. That's when the security cam started messing up. He's like, I see it above like the shelf.
It's so weird though. 'Cause
So you could see it so that like where his that's like the head and then there's like
that's
an
a-
arm
that's
reaching
a-
over.
that's a
Reaching out
person.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
so that was in C. That was in the back.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was above. That's why we spent so much time touching the boxes.
But-
like I was like antagonizing it because every time I would go back there, we had the REM pod.
Maybe I-
yeah, the REM pod would start going off every time I was back there.
But it's crazy because like I've been there. That corner up there, like that just whole area just felt wild.
I
Like,
told you it was something
it felt
in there.
like where the desk and the TVs and everything was. Like
Right.
it was cool. Right.
Yeah.
And then you get like to that back part, like when you get
Oh, I
ready to go
hated
out
going
back,
out there.
and it's like
But you know, it was a studio where people could bring their own props, and a lot of those people were bringing in
There was one specifically
suspicious ass
that
stuff.
George
okay?
George touched and I did not touch, which was we had Matt Montague, who was he's a crime scene cleaner. Actually, I think I'm going to see him next weekend. He's a crime scene cleaner, and he had these dolls from like a serial killer's house.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's gotta have something.
and I think
And-
they were tattooed potentially after victims.
Yeah.
So he had them as like props.
Yeah.
And George was like, I'm gonna touch it. I'm like, George, please don't touch it, man. And then as soon as they like, and then he left them there, like they were in a box in the back. We started having like episodes corrupting and deleting. People were just more agitated at each other.
Shit crashing in the middle of George's show, like
Yep.
But it was
oh no,
also-
that was way after. That was way before that. This was
I was going to say,
before
there was
I
also
even-
other energy there, though, because, I mean, at the end
Oh,
of the
yeah.
day, they
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Christian's ashes there.
We did.
And then it used to be a boxing gym. So you got glass mirrors facing each other.
yeah,
You know, which is another source of energy. So it's
yeah.
like you got all of this energy just.
just
And
in
then, like
there.
you said, 8 miles out of town, I mean, that was on Warm Springs. So
Right. So it was probably
8 miles. That
Well,
had to
that
be
was
8 miles from the
Sunset,
strip back in the
Sunset
day.
and Rainbow. So that was from downtown.
Right
Yeah,
out
that
there,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was out there.
8 miles, 6 feet.
Yeah,
86.
yeah. And it was just crazy because a lot of people had old memorabilia, like things that you buy at
Gotcha.
auctions
Brian.
inside of their. I wasn't gonna call him
I'll
out.
call him out. I love Brian.
But like Elvis memorabilia, and I think whenever we asked which one of these boxes is bringing
was
off this energy, it was Brian's
well,
box.
Brian's also like paranormally sensitive too.
Yeah.
He's the one that
Right.
does the investigations with it. His sister's a medium too, which is even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we have a little bit more time left. I think we have one more caller. in the queue. We'll kind of.
I do have one more question before we take that caller though.
Okay.
Because I just had a something click in my mind. You guys used to rent like certain equipment and stuff to people who were doing stuff like that, right? Out of that place in general.
Like for the old studio?
Yeah, like the old studio, wasn't there like equipment being rented out to people who were doing like
I think so. Or was
hunting
it
and
you?
stuff like that?
Or either way, but
No, I mean like people
was-
would come and go.
Right,
And
it was
they would
They would
many-
rent like there was
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
for
People
for
would
rent.
borrow our equipment. I
So
don't know
how
what
do we
they
know
do
that
with it.
stuff wasn't attaching to these electronics or different stuff? Because you got
True.
people coming in renting stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
it
like,
was a lot of energy. It was. I hated going. I was like,
that
man,
that make me scared now. Like imagine having 2 cars on as a Toro fleet. And you renting them out to people, and
no.
all of that energy
All of a
is
sudden
being
the FBI
attached
shows
to
up to your
your
house.
belongings. And then you go back
Yeah.
because these are your cars. So you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm just driving my kids to school.
I watched a
FBI
video of
comes
a
to your house.
haunted
This is
ass
tracked to a
Airbnb.
murder.
Right.
Yeah, that's. I mean, energy. Like I said, it never dies. It just keeps moving at the molecular level. Like it is this big, but it's still going. And once it just builds up, it was too many people coming in and out. And I wanted my own studio. And I
Yeah.
was like, hell no, I'm too like spiritually sensitive
Yeah.
and empathetic for
You
that.
got a lot of people coming there to film, and they're bringing their own energy.
Well, there was a lot of just low vibrational people too.
yeah.
Clock it, because I said it. I said
Yep,
these
she
people
pointed it out.
is so. You know, it is what it is. I'm glad
is what it
now
is.
we
We're
don't
here
have
and
that
it's
problem,
clean,
and it's
as far as I know.
I mean,
even if there was something
I
I,
mean,
felt, I wouldn't tell you.
technically,
like,
we're
I
still
wouldn't tell you.
I wouldn't.
we're still downtown right now.
Why
We are
disturb-
still downtown.
yeah.
There's a lot of energy just around.
Yeah, why disturb your peace? You know?
Sometimes the mobsters got lazy. They wasn't driving 8 miles.
They're driving 10 feet.
They was like,
Just leave them out on the street.
listen, we gonna walk them right down the street, shoot them right there.
Yep, that's how it used to be.
Let's go for a walk. No, thank you. No, we're going for a
I'm
walk.
not going for no walks. Nope.
All right, George, who's our
Let's
last
get to
caller?
this last call.
7547 *6 to unmute. Zoom is so weird with phone calls. One day we'll be able to afford like the little phone line we can hang up.
Right.
Just
Oh, I have
Caller,
been-
you're in the room.
Jones had to hang up on somebody
Hello?
with a real phone.
Caller, can you hear us?
Is there anybody there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had you on mute. My bad.
that's okay.
You're fine. How you doing? Thank you for
How y'all
calling
doing
in.
tonight?
I was like, oh no, we got a haunted
thank you
call
so
on
much.
top of the conversation. This is crazy.
Woo! First, I want to say welcome, Jay. I used to watch, Ghost Adventures when I was a kid, like real young.
Nice.
Like I grew up on that, so it's really dope to see you on one of my, favorite YouTube channels.
That's
Hey.
cool.
My name is Demetria. I am a 2-year-old trans woman. I've called before.
Yes.
I'm from Maryland.
I
remember.
remember for sure.
So I kind of talked about like a little funny story. So I kind of want to share something with y'all because we're talking about, spiritual attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like much younger and I was, I was really diving deeper into all of this,
Mm-hmm.
and more of kind of the, I guess you could say, not so much serious stuff, like shadow work and things like that, but more of like, the psychic things and, like astral projection, more of the things we learn in the beginning. That's interesting, right? So I was, messing with crystal ball and I have just bought it. So basically what I had done was I kind of was setting an intention of opening up, my energy more and discovering more and hearing more, seeing more, wanting to, really tap into that. But at the time, I did not have that foundation
Right.
to really do what I was trying, envisioning, whatever. So, let's say I was effing around and finding out, right? And that's what I did. So I was staring into the crystal ball and, as we all are able to, I tapped into that energy and I saw myself into this. It almost was like I became into the crystal ball. I sat. It's almost like I was sitting inside of the crystal ball. I became so focused into the crystal ball that I almost was inside of it. And that's what I saw. And that was like all of my vision. And I had crystals, surrounding me. And I was, just tapping in. And I went deep. I started hearing almost, I couldn't explain it. I wouldn't, there's no factual evidence. But I started hearing voices to which I believed were everyone. I do have, as we all do, that connection to that voice and to, everyone's energy because we're all connected. So I was receiving all this information at once because that's what I was, looking to do, and not, and for me, I come from a place where I didn't have nobody in my family, nobody really around me to guide me through this. So I'm just doing what I do, and so I'm here, I'm hearing all these things. It's getting intense and my anxiety's raising from it. You know what I mean? Right. And this is a controlled experience and with intention, it was, but it's messy. And so what happened was I'm hearing it and it came to a stop and all of a sudden I felt my heartbeat raise and I felt an energy. I even heard an energy. I can't remember what the words were or what it was said. In times, certain things and situations and rituals, whatever you want to call it, you can't remember all the time exactly what was happening. But I do remember feeling the spirit, seeing the spirit, and obviously, it's your own imagination will, mess you up, So I was seeing this spirit, and envisioning, it was coming to my vision of what this might be, blah, blah, blah. And, I even felt it like scratch my eye, you know what I mean? And it scratched one eye is what it felt as felt. It did. So, that happens. It terrified me. You know what I mean? I asked around and find out, but then as the years was gone on, and I really, I guess you could say, integrated and processed that experience. And I feel like it's just a topic. It's like, I've learned, we really manifest so much about these experiences we have, and especially these dark, negative ones. Sometimes, we're operating at a vibration that, not to say I was operating in a negative sense and had a negative intention, because my intention simply was unclear. There was no boundaries, right? So I was allowing whatever wanted to come in. That's what I was wanting. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, right. And just being stupid. But,
no, that's not stupid. It's just a learning experience. We've all, I feel like,
exactly,
at some point have come face to face, whether it be via sleep paralysis or astral projecting,
getting
or
dragged out of a hole.
Dragged out of a hole, right? Which was that on the that was on the members only.
That was on the members only.
So he told a story about the most terrifying time. We've all come face to face with low vibrational beings, right? And you're right. Sometimes, like, especially whenever you're having sleep paralysis and you are astral projection or astral projecting, these things are your fears. Like, you've manifested them. You think that whenever you can't move your arms and you are in sleep paralysis, this is what is expected that you see, right? Whenever you don't have to, you can just let it happen and go right into astral projecting. So thank you so much for everybody that is subscribing.
It's really not,
Yeah. So it comes down to it's a learning experience, and I'm glad you learned it early in your journey, because it sucks whenever you learn it later on, because then it's not just those little entities.
It stunts growth, or what it feels like it stunts growth, but really, that's that shadow work that kind of like hits you. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just making, like, not to say you're making things up, but in a sense, we are all divine, so we can create things such as that.
Yeah.
We are able to, because we can, put intention towards the energy and manifest that just based off our emotions, and how we're feeling. And if that is not controlled through that, through the energy, third eye, whatever you want to call it, in your mind and your boundaries, then it's going to manifest to you and hurt your ass, but really we have to not be afraid and, command our reality. Is kind of like what I learned, instead of allowing or operating at that place where
Operating
You know.
out of fear. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And another thing a lot of people don't realize
Operating out of
is
fear.
you can manifest that type of energy with the simplest of things and not even understand it, like irrational fears, a clustered or dirtied house. It's the little things.
Yeah.
So keep your spaces clean. It keeps your energy clean because trust me, these type of like low vibrational entities, spirits, they love a clustered house. They love depression. They love this type of like very, very low frequency energy. So it, like I said, it's just a learning curve. I've accidentally, I believe I've opened up portals doing shit, not knowing what the hell I was doing. It was on accident. So it's all about just how you take the learning experience and not operating out of fear and knowing that you are literally the master of your abilities.
But if you don't ever open portals, you don't know how to
Yeah.
close them.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you like,
Yeah, Jay.
it's a lesson.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
gotta close it. But,
yeah.
but also, I tell people
Yeah.
too, like I know, like in this reality, in our world, we do have the power,
Yeah,
and it's only us thinking we're not
Yeah.
that allows things to overtake us.
absolutely. And that's why I think all of us, well, Mr. Fresh, he's never been on a ghost hunt. But
I'm excited.
He's been
My
adjacent.
first one's coming up though.
yeah, so
We're doing it Monday.
It's gonna
Mondays.
be Monday, and
So I'm scared, but I'm excited.
but you don't
Well,
have to
you
be
got it.
fearful if you know, like all of us have been in haunted places, but you know that you're spiritually grounded, and you know if you have that arrogance, like nothing can harm me in this life unless I allow it to, and then make sure you do your spiritual like hygiene, you'll be fine.
No,
you
but
know,
it's
these are
it's a lot of people in
That
this
little-
world.
You gotta have that little bit of
yeah,
Right, for sure.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like you
For
said,
me, it's a lot of people in this world that I don't trust.
yeah.
But I've been married to you for 12 beautiful
Forever.
years. So if I can't trust anybody, I trust
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I thought he was saying
Right.
you didn't. I was like, damn,
Right.
Mr. Fresh on the air?
No, because one thing he did say that makes sense. If you've never opened a portal, you'll never know how to close it, right?
Yeah.
If you don't do,
Yeah.
let's say, for instance, if you don't do a conjuring or root work, you'll never know. Like, always know how to take it off. You won't know these things.
I mean, to make it more simpler, if you never bake a cake, you don't know how to burn a cake. You don't
Yeah.
know how you don't know
What to
how to
do,
make a
yeah.
cake successfully. So at
You
the end of
know.
the day, we gotta go through these things to learn.
yeah, we all started a dumpster fire or two, spiritually and worldly.
I
so
went
think
in to
we'll be
cook a
okay.
buffet and I burned all the food after that.
We still ate though because we wasn't wasting no food.
Right.
I tried.
Yeah, no, but thank you so much
Yes,
for
thank you for
calling
calling
in.
in.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for continuously tapping in. Make sure you
Yeah.
keep on
Absolutely.
tapping in
And
with
I
us.
have so many more stories.
Yeah.
Listen.
I love
We will
y'all's
be here
channel.
Tuesday
So,
with our costumes
you.
on. Make sure you tap in.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
doing a
you
costume
guys wear your
contest.
costumes. I'm no win.
Okay, Tuesday. Yeah, I was like, hold on, Thursday. I must not have listened
No,
carefully
Tuesday.
So
because
this was
I was
Tuesday.
like,
This was a
this is a
bonus.
special
This is a
episode just because
special
we got
episode.
Mr. J in the house, and
Right.
so we
Yeah.
couldn't make
Yeah.
him wait. We wasn't
y'all
making
know
him
how
wait till
excited I
Tuesday.
was.
Yeah.
We were like,
Right.
he's too busy. We
I'll
don't
do it
make
right.
it.
We said, "Oh, you ready tomorrow? We'll be there tomorrow. Whatever you need, you know."
I got off work and I sat down and I was like looking at the TV. I was like, oh shit, they're on live. Let me get on. Like it was just.
So
you know, it
every
feels
Tuesday,
good
depending
to
on
have
what you said, you're
that
in Maryland,
community.
so it would be 8 p.m.
Yeah.
your
Yep,
time.
Yep, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
between 8 and 8:30. You know, sometimes we.
I give
I'll
us some
tap
grace.
in. After I get off work, y'all are usually in the middle of your live stream, and around like 9 or whatever, and I usually tap in around that time.
Okay.
You know, my hours.
We
So
always
I
repost
tap
though,
right
so you
in
can
when
make
I-
sure
when
you
I
catch
see it, you know.
the back on the back end. You can catch
Yep.
it the next day
Yep.
or a couple days later.
Exactly. But yes, I rewatch what I haven't seen. I do.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much
Yes,
for your
thank you for
support.
calling
I
in.
appreciate it.
Yes, I'll be watching the race. Y'all have a good night, and hopefully we hear some awesome stories.
All right.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah, listen. That was a good call.
Yeah.
We get a lot of spirituality calls because
Yeah.
I'm the spooky spiritualist that likes. Sometimes I fuck around and find out, but that's okay.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that. How do you learn anything if you don't make mistakes? If you
Exactly.
don't accidentally do things? And
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
open a portal and oh,
right,
no, I
or
let
touch a
everything
divot
in.
box. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't
I mean,
know.
I did in the Conjuring basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you said you didn't close.
What's that?
Because last time you brought that up on the
Wait,
when I
what'd you
interviewed
do in the Conjuring basement?
I opened a portal.
Oh God.
Because
To
I
close it?
remember I was talking about because I was like, oh, these YouTubers went and you're like, yeah, I don't think I closed it.
Yeah, because I went through it.
Oh my God, I heard
Jay.
that. You see, if a ghost adventurer It's telling you he opened a portal and went through it. You got out though. Here you are.
I mean, here I am, I think.
Are you guys gonna have like the jackass thing? Like, these are trained professionals. Please do not attempt to
Yeah.
what you see
That
tonight.
should be a disclaimer.
Yeah. You know,
Please
these are-
do not manifest any of this energy.
Right. It
Yeah.
just comes down to we all have our encounters.
Yep.
Jay has had his. He talked about it on the members only. So if you are
Yes.
not a members only, go ahead and subscribe. The episode will be up tomorrow.
Super
or you'll
dope
be doing it
episode,
tonight.
y'all.
Internet gods be with me. It'll be up tonight.
Yeah. It's,
Cox Cable might fuck around
If
and
y'all
find out.
haven't
Yeah.
subscribed by now, y'all need to subscribe. I don't think y'all understand the amount of heat that we've been putting in for y'all.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's amazing what we're doing on a smaller level. So I
Yeah.
want y'all to make sure that y'all
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all like, share, all of that good stuff, and you know, like subscribe to us.
Yeah,
you know?
become a member.
Be a
it's,
member.
It's a 1-tier thing, but we put out we do a members only episode before every show, and it's only available for members. We also have some bonus content we're working on that's going to come out for you guys. Also, the skip the line charge is cut in half for you guys.
Right.
Yes.
Only
yes.
$5. So
I don't even
And-
think anybody's taking advantage of
I don't
that
think
yet.
so. And I think we've had members call in and pay full
I
price.
think-
So we
I
might
mean,
we might
some
have to
people
do
love us and just want to support
do,
the channel.
and we
other people
appreciate that
forget.
100%.
Yeah, we love y'all.
We have to pay George his peanuts every week.
Yep.
You
Yep.
guys
Or
have
else-
to get
The
The
skip
George.
line.
Make sure you add the
It's the only
in
way to
front
go
of
to
it.
Disney.
Yeah. I'm going
Fast
to
pass.
I'm
Yeah,
going
it's
to
a fast-
Disney. Going to Disney in like 2.5 weeks.
Oh,
And
he's
mean,
going to
'cause-
his favorite
Yeah,
portal. I'm
fast
trying to
pass.
go
I was
for
about to say
Christmas.
because he's a super
Well,
haunted
don't
person.
they
so-
like you buy it by ride now, right?
I think so. Well, I have the DAS pass.
Yeah.
I got lucky. Not lucky, but I have
Yeah, no,
I have the
I'm
DAS
trying.
pass. But no, now it's like Premier, and it's like $150 per person per day.
It's cool. Look,
It's
I'm trying
crazy.
to go to Disney. I just need to rent a wheelchair, but we're gonna be in that thing, you know.
Yeah, he was trying to crash my trip. My assistant, who's not here tonight, it's with her 'cause she's part of the family. We're all going as like a family thing.
Thank you so much,
and,
Jace.
And he was like, "I'm trying to go with y'all."
No, hey, listen, we've been trying to go back to Disney, and since this is like your third trip in the last 3 months,
I know. I was like, leave
Hey.
them folks alone. Let them take a family vacation.
Hey.
Leave them alone.
we are part of the
Shout
family.
out Allstate.
Austin is our brother from
Shout out
another.
Allstate and Geico and my lifelong back injury that I have now for allowing me to get a house down payment, go to
to
Disney a couple of
Disneyland.
times,
Yes.
get a new car.
Yeah.
But it hurts to walk. And
Cryotherapy.
I might have to.
Cryotherapy helps.
Yes,
my back.
absolutely.
All right. Well,
But I bet you, little man will never forget the experience. My mom and dad took me to Disney 3 times.
he
in
talks
one
about it
year.
every day.
Yeah.
We had fun at Disneyland. Yes. Are we
Yes.
going today? No. But we'll go. We'll go soon.
Hey,
But
Tootie Man keeps asking me about Paw Patrol because I bought him tickets to Paw Patrol, and it's not until like February. I don't know
see,
how I'm
we
gonna
took
make it till February.
Little Man to Monster Trucks, and he loved it. And then thankfully the Hot Wheels one came. It was like a month
Oh,
later.
yeah.
We're like, all right,
Oh.
cool. Now we gotta wait a whole goddamn year. And he talks about it every day.
He
I
took
took
them,
my
he
little
took my
boys the
boys.
monster. Man, it was so loud, and I ain't
It
get them
was
the
fun.
headphones or nothing. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
no.
"Jeez."
We rolled do it. Earplugs,
Like back in the
headphones.
day.
I have tinnitus from being. You get it. Being a musician, I have my earrings already fucked. But
Man, it was dope though.
Oh, before we go, I just wanted to remind everybody because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys follow me because you see me on our guest for next Tuesday's channel. Kaya will be here, the real Kaya. She will be here in studio live.
y'all thought we were just
So-
gonna stop at Jay as a banger guest.
I know, all month we've had the most amazing
We have-
guests. Like
We should have
I'm
like the
so
DJ
grateful.
Khaled, like another one.
Another one. Can
Yep.
we get DJ Khaled on the
Yep.
show? He might legitimately do it.
He might.
He
I'll
might
have
do
my
it.
people
But it's
call
like
his
it's
people.
kind of hard to go any higher than Jay. It's like,
No,
That is true.
listen,
How do we
Jay and
compete?
Kaya is like there. And
Yeah,
then it's
but
like,
how do we compete?
I think if
to
we
this?
if we
Like-
get Zach, but I feel like that's like a 6-year wait list.
No,
it's like
we're gonna get a
$100,000
ghost.
minimum.
The ghost is gonna come.
Oh
and
yeah,
sit
that's
down
the
in
only way we could go higher. We
Our
gotta
up
get
from you is
haunted.
we're gonna get an actual spirit to guest on the show.
Well, that's my reveal that I'm actually not here.
He got sucked into that portal.
Yeah,
That's
the
what it
Conjuring
is.
He's still in the portal right
Yeah,
now.
this is a different timeline. This Jay came
Yeah, he's
and
been-
he survived. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Same.
Oh, we got 3 subscribers tonight.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you,
but
guys.
we have our guests next week. It's our Halloween edition. So we invite you to wear your costume because if you're going to dress up for Halloween, you have it by now.
Yep.
Right?
We are going to be. I'm going to start up a channel in the Discord for you guys to submit your costume photos, and we're
Yes.
gonna pick one at the end, and we're maybe let Mr. Fresh because he He seems to have like, nah, I ain't letting
Listen,
cheap costume slide.
Austin already told me he's coming as a bog guitarist and he's not wearing a shirt. So just watch
So
out.
I'm just coming as myself. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well,
So make sure you set your alarms. Make sure the notification bell is on. Make sure you're subscribed, especially if you're watching over on my channel. Make sure you are subscribed to Truly Bizarre, Cross from Beyond.
what are we
all of
doing?
them.
If you're not
What-
subscribed to
like,
all
why
three, what are we doing?
this?
Right.
Yes.
Subscribe to Jay's channel. I don't know what it is yet, but
Right. Do you have a YouTube?
No.
he's too busy. He's
We were
I
looking
guess
for.
I
I
do.
was
He's
like, I
like,
don't
you
think he
know,
has
you know where
one.
to find me if you want to find me.
No,
You know where I'm
like,
going to be at.
Hey, text Jay real quick, but
I guess there's a band YouTube.
yeah.
yeah.
there's
Do
some
you want to
stuff
plug
up
your
there.
band?
Sure, it's called 100 in the Hand.
Oh, hey. I like that.
We
That
all
sounds
could
like
use
something.
100 in there.
You guys are a local band here?
I wouldn't say local.
No, I guess our headquarters is here out of the studio here.
Right.
But
Okay.
I'm here. Our singer lives in South Dakota.
Okay.
And our drummer lives in Vermont.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. So you guys all are super
We're
busy
kinda
and
spread
just
out, yeah.
yeah. Well, you guys kind of do, like they said, know where to find.
Yes.
Jay.
But
Yeah.
what's coming up next with Ghost Adventures? Any sneak peek you can kind of give us as to what's coming
we've
up?
been filming nonstop, so we have a lot of episodes. We have a whole. We shot more house calls episodes.
Oh, awesome.
So right now they've been airing the new show by Zach, Destination of the Damned,
Yep.
and we're just kind of waiting until we get the word when they're going to start dropping new episodes of Ghost Adventures. But we have a lot backed up, and we're excited for everyone to see them. And it's crazy because after this long of doing it, like we've had so many crazy experiences, and we're always like, in my mind at least, I'm like, what else could there be?
Yeah.
But then there's still like an episode that we'll go out and film, and I'm like, my mind is blown again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even 15 years in, it's still blowing my mind.
How do
and
you
I
even
was about to say,
find?
'cause
I was gonna ask, how do you even find a location? Like, how do people submit? Because I know somebody their house is haunted.
Right.
Shit, it's old.
Is there like an email or
Yeah.
like a
there
production team that can get in?
we have researchers that work for us that
Oh,
kind
okay.
of collect things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even like social media, like
Yeah.
we'll reach out from fans and stuff that will send us places to check out.
Yeah.
And then we usually, kind of vet it, and then we'll pass it along to our researchers, and then the researchers go to Zach, and he'll pick which one we're doing next.
I have another question that's way more stupid. It's not.
He's like, I'm mourning now.
It's way
ADHD
more
is kicking
stupid,
in.
but I just so whenever you're on like a syndicated show like that, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Do you,
That's how you know it's a bad one.
no, it's not super bad, but I'm just curious because obviously we're YouTubers. We know how we get paid on YouTube. But
Wait,
like
we
when
do?
you're on,
I'm still.
I know it's either coming on the 15th or the 21st, possibly, depending unless it's a holiday. But when you're on a syndicated show, do you only get paid when the episode airs, or do you get paid whenever you film?
So in production, there's different ways to do it. We are a documentary reality show, so there's no union for us.
Okay.
So we're not like in a SAG union for like TV shows, actors. That's nice
even know
because
that's a
usually
thing.
because you get paid, but then every time it airs, they'll get paid again.
There's a guy I watch on TikTok
Okay.
who is a writer, and he counts his residual
And
checks every
writers,
month.
directors,
Yeah.
they'll get like residuals, so like that. But with reality, you don't. There's no union that kind of works that
So
out.
you guys
That's
don't get
crazy.
residual checks.
No.
Oh, that's
Jay, we need to
paid.
rise up right now. We'll do it after this. We'll start
great.
picketing.
Create the
we
reality.
ain't gonna make it.
union.
We ain't putting Jay's
No,
job. We love
I was
y'all.
just
Thank
curious
you.
because it's like obviously, he's filming 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So
Yeah.
it's like when you're filming like that, is it like, okay, well, I'm getting paid right now, but I'm never going to see another check again because I know this show is
It's
going to
probably
air
like
for the
a
next
budget
40
for the year.
years.
Yeah.
Probably right. It's probably
What's
like
that?
a budget for the year, and they just
Yeah,
allocate
they usually
it.
they'll order. They'll get a contract for so many years of a show.
Yeah.
Like they'll
Right.
renew it. And then the contract comes to an end, and then they renew it for another year, another
Okay.
2
Well, I
years.
just meant like on how
whatever
you
it
get
is.
paid. I'm assuming it's probably person by person, but it's probably like, okay, this is how much we'll pay you. This is the frequency, and
Right.
Yeah,
Kind of
so-
like we want
so
this
just-
many episodes
Right.
by
Okay.
this amount of time.
Oh, that's
kind of thing.
dope. Oh, someone said, love my ghost adventures. Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
girl. But yeah, make sure you have everything
Yes.
set on your phones for next week's episode because
Yes.
it's going to be a fun one.
what do you got coming up? What's new on Black Cauldron? What
I
you got
have
in the
a lot.
pipeline?
I've been editing. I recorded
We were texting each other at 1 a.m. That's how
I
down
know.
bad we are.
I mean, it's random. We will text each other the most random shit in the
Well,
middle of the
I
night.
didn't tell you about the ghost hunt I did last night, but
Yes. So I've been editing. I have about 4 videos that
She recorded her tush off yesterday.
Yes.
hey, sometimes you got to.
I fell asleep on her in a dialysis chair
Yeah.
while she was editing videos
did.
because I was so bored.
Yeah. And
You're gonna get you like a Nintendo Switch or something,
No,
dude.
he has a PlayStation
I got my
and an
I got my
Xbox.
PlayStation, but when they came and redid our floors, like they unplugged internet
Everything.
cord, so like I was plugging back in Ethernets, but I couldn't get a
was
connection. So I was like, my phone's not working. I can't even control the TV.
Yeah, and probably sick of my mouth because I get sick of my own voice when I'm editing. Oh, it's so gross. So I have a lot of videos coming out. Of course, Monday I will be at
Yes.
Spirits with the Spirits. Or what
Yep.
is it called?
Spirits with Spirits. Yep.
Spirits
And
So
you
with
can-
if you're close,
if you're in the Vegas
I'm letting
area,
you
we
know,
only
if
have a couple more
if
slots
you want to
open.
meet one of
Yeah.
us, I mean, you know, I'm not a big guy. I mean, I don't have a following.
He's
but
Wizard
obviously,
Kelly.
she's, you know, she has the following.
Unfortunately, George will not be there, so that's
But
probably
George
going to
is
lose us some
busy that
people.
day.
Right.
Yeah, he has contractual obligations.
I wish I wish we could convince George, like, hey, just show up with no shirt on.
get a
We'd probably
cardboard
be
cutout.
sold out.
Yeah. George, should we
sell
get
out.
cardboard cutout, George?
Yeah, you got a cardboard.
All right.
He doesn't have a mic today, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So if you're interested, where can they purchase?
Yeah, so Mari's been posting the link. Actually, she just posted it just now. If you want to go something, it's pioneersaloonnv.com. I've been hosting them, which kind of leads into what I have coming out. Starting on Halloween, I have 2 episodes of a 5-part series coming out called Tales from the Pioneer. Every night that we have been doing these investigations, I've been recording and documenting. And so it's kind of like a bunch of paranormal
A
investigations.
collaboration.
Yeah,
A collaboration of investigations.
Yeah, so first 2 episodes are going to drop on Halloween for you guys. I'm currently working on them. And then I'm going to have 3 more that are to come out the following week starting on Friday. Every Friday I'm going to have
So I
one
get
drop.
the trick and I get treats.
Yep.
Not
Correct.
just candy.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the trick and
I'm
the treat.
excited.
Perfect.
Well,
But I just want to make a huge thank you to Jay
Thank
for
you
coming
so
out.
much.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
And
friends now.
We friends now. And I know everybody was really looking forward to this because we kind of made a big deal about it. We don't do 2 shows a week normally, but we were like, Jay demanded Thursday at this time,
He
even
did
though I
not.
just
I'm
asked
like,
him.
listen,
I
you
only do
better make
podcasts
it.
on Thursdays.
I was like, no, we need to make another show. He's like,
Yep.
are you? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Put in
no.
another
So
show.
most people
What do you
do.
mean?
Most people wear pink on Wednesdays. He does podcasts on Thursdays.
Yes,
Yep.
very
Got you.
demure of him.
Yeah.
I did check the alignments. You know.
So where can they find Ghost Adventures if they still are not aware of where they can watch this?
We're on Discovery Channel, also Travel Channel for reruns,
Yeah.
and HBO Max, Discovery Plus.
Not Tubi. We already
No,
got
we
it. Not
already
Tubi.
discussed.
Not Tubi.
No.
Not Tubi.
And
This
then
is
just
high quality
online.
production.
You just Google Ghost Adventures and
Yeah.
you'll find
And there's
all
probably a
the
bunch
watch it
of
right
fake
now.
accounts
There
reposting.
probably are. Watch out for the fakes. There are a lot of
Yes.
fake people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will
Yep,
never
yep, yep.
ask you for money. Or
No.
Oh my God.
Neither will we.
Neither will we.
Neither will we in DMs. We will ask for donations in terms of
never,
super chats.
We will
and
never
merch.
offer to bring you to Vegas. We will never do any of those things
Yeah.
that the fakes do. And
Do you see someone that is on TV has the same
Right.
issues that I
Send
have?
me
as a-
$1,500. I'll fly you to Vegas right now.
And again,
Pay less than that.
and, like I literally got an email from a subscriber who had someone in her WhatsApp threatening to unalive her because I know we're live on TikTok.
TikTok. We are on TikTok.
Yes, unalive her and was sending her pictures of dead bodies, saying this is what they were gonna do to her.
But
and
also
she didn't
sending
book a
pictures
reading.
of your face, like,
And it's-
like,
and it's of
I'll
me.
do this to you.
If I catch any of y'all doing that, it's on site.
Yeah, so
Don't
please,
tarnish our name like that.
Don't do that to me, y'all.
Go-
and
go
I will
outside.
never ever reach out.
Go
Please.
outside. Go touch
Right.
grass.
Yeah.
Go
or
touch grass.
Watch the show and then hang out
And then
with
she's
us.
like,
No,
"Is this
these
you?" I'm
scammers
like,
is going to
why
a whole
would that
nother
be
level.
me?
I'm like, why would I ever threaten? And then I looked, I'm like, that's a foreign number. Please block it.
I've been getting a lot. I get an email almost once a week, and it'll be like, it's the same format, so I always
Yeah.
know it's like copy and paste.
Yeah.
But it's like, hi Jay, I'm some name, and I represent some like big name podcast, and they're like, we want to pay you like 10 grand to come on our podcast.
Right.
You know, contact us to arrange.
Wait, it was only 10 for you to come on?
Only.
Well, I mean, this
Only.
was a scam. You know.
It was
I was about to say,
They
Jay
scam you
charged
too.
us 22.
Yeah, it was the same.
I didn't want to bring it up now, but your check bounced. Also. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know it bounced. That's why. That's why I sent it today. So we would go through.
Damn, Austin, what you been doing all the money?
It's post dated for November.
We told you we
Of 2030.
You weren't supposed to cash it until next year.
No, we told you, Jay, we would kindly pay you for a podcast interview today. Next year, and you went and tried to cash it.
We will give you
Post-dated.
residuals.
He didn't see it said 2025 on the check.
And I spelled his name like Jay Wasley. Like, just spelled it so the bank would be like, I don't know who this is.
That's
but
the digital, you know.
yeah, but they can
deposits,
still. They probably don't even read that. But thank you again, Jay. It was
absolutely.
really fun
Thank
having
you.
you
Yes,
on. It
we
was
had a good time.
a real awesome time.
Yeah.
Everybody go check out, George isn't able to talk, so go check out Pin and Pull, George's podcast. His brother is crushing it right now in college football. I heard that he may have set the all-time record for reverse sacks. It's the most sacks prevented in football. So if you want to hear what that's about, go check out Pin and Pull. If you're not following Truly Bizarre or The Black Cauldron, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, come on now.
And then go check out Jay Wasley Film on Instagram, Facebook.
Yes. Also, make sure you're here
yeah.
next Tuesday for our special guest and our Halloween show.
Yes.
And I guess that's till next time.
Yeah, it's until next time.
Yeah, and make sure
Become
y'all
a member. Become a
yeah,
member.
that
We
too.
we asked way more questions with Jay, much more in-depth questions that I don't know if you've really even answered them elsewhere. I'm sure you've answered them in other interviews, but we saved the good questions for the members only. Please consider becoming a member, and until next time, everybody.
Did you have something
No,
that you wanted?
I was just gonna tell everybody, make sure y'all take care of yourself, man. Y'all know the veil, like she said.
Oh, yep.
Oh
The
yeah,
veil is thin right
Please,
now.
Yes.
You guys be careful out
So
here.
make
in
sure
these
y'all not
spiritual
making
streets.
yourself susceptible to things that you ain't ready to encounter yet.
be
Don't
careful.
fuck around and find out if you don't want to fuck around and find out.
Just try
Leave it to the
love one
professionals.
another, you know.
Leave it to the professionals.
Leave it to the professionals. Send Jay spam count. Instagram
Yeah,
message.
send them your what you want them to look at, but you have to send like a $30 donation for each picture. Like,
Yeah.
what is
Yep.
this? $30? Oh, $30. Okay, yeah, that's good.
But thank you guys, and we will see you on Tuesday at 5
Tuesday.
p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Love y'all.